Center Tom Owens has been a key man as the Portland Trailblazers are making an all-out run at the final playoff spot in the NBA West. Today, he'll be matched against Sam Lacey of the Midwest leaders, the Kansas City Kings. Big Sam in his 9th year having his best NBA season. Today, it's the Trailblazers and the Kings.
Brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Chevrolet and Chevrolet dealers coast to coast. And by Pan Am, the airline that flies the world the way the world wants to fly.
Kemper Arena, Kansas City, Missouri, and today it's the Midwest leaders, the Kansas City Kings, hosting the Portland Trailblazers. The club beset by injuries, but still playing their hallmark team game and making a run at the final playoff spot in the NBA West. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Don Criqui. This is John McLaughlin. Last night, San Diego won again, beat Cleveland. So this afternoon, Portland goes into this game one game behind San Diego in that bid for the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. They have a problem right now with injuries.
They certainly have. Kansas City's had problems. Portland they've had their problems. It's a big game for both teams. Portland in particular, they're fighting for that spot. They must contend with Phil Ford if they want to win this game.
Kansas City's had a tough run, too. Their all-star forward, Scott Wedman, has been out. He was in an auto accident a week ago today. And the Trailblazers come in now with their starting lineup out on the floor as Kansas City's Cotton Fitzsimmons still has his team huddle around him. That's how we'll match up with the forwards. Robin Zine for the Kings. Big power forward out of DePaul. And Maurice Lucas will be starting today. There was some question about that. As you know, the Portland fans certainly do. He's had a problem with his foot. Michael Thompson, the other forward, the rookie out of Minnesota. The centers are Owens and Lacey. You met them at the outset of the show. And in the backcourt, two lightning-quick guards, Twardzik of the Blazers, Phil Ford of Kansas City. And the big guards, the scorers, Ron Brewer, who's come on so well as a rookie for the Trailblazers, Otis Birdsong for the Kansas City Kings. There's our officials, Bill Jones, Don Murphy, Wally Rooney. Don Murphy's going to put the ball in the air as Sam Lacey steps in to jump against Tom Owens. He's coming off his best game, 34-point effort against the Indiana Pacers Friday night. Yap knocked around, and finally on a double bat, the ball goes over to Phil Ford.
The Portland guards certainly will have their hands full, as I indicated up top, with Ford, of course, with the penetration he has, and Birdsong, who's an outstanding shooter.
Robin Zine gets a bounce from a hometown rim, and the Trailblazers fall behind 2-0. Here's Twardzik. He's been the quarterback. The three best players in the Portland team, Lionel Hollins in the backcourt, Lucas up front, and, of course, the best of all, Bill Walton, who hasn't played at all this season, all beset by injuries. Hollins is still out, has flu right now. And we're glad to see Maurice Lucas back in the lineup, but he's still troubled by a tendon pull on his foot. First foul of the game is called, and it sends Michael Thompson to the free throw line. Bob Nash of the Kings drew the foul.
Kansas City's a very physical team. As you can see, they've already committed a foul. As a matter of fact, they're first in the NBA at committing fouls. They commit a lot of them.
That's usually the sign of a good aggressive team, though.
Very aggressive team. They're a good defensive team because of it.
Bill Ford, who's coming off a 29-point, 15-assist game Friday night, when the Kings beat the winningest team in the NBA, Washington, hits his first shot of the game. It's 2-2.
Really getting an opportunity to see a great player in Phil Ford. He's just one of the outstanding players in the NBA. Not only can he pass the ball, but he's a fine shooter.
Big Luke gets the roll, and Portland is on the board with its first points. It's a 4-2 game. Bill Ford keeps so much pressure on the defense because he brings the ball down full speed even when the defense is back. They've got to always be ready for him. He'll try to shoot that lane. Ron Brewer kicks the ball inside now to Twardzik. Ford playing off him, does not want him to penetrate to feed off. He's going to give him the outside because Twardzik does not take that many shots.
But when he does, it normally goes in, as we see a turnover here that Lucas is not particularly happy with.
Here's Luke.
Well, is that defense or just bad knees? I don't know which, but anyway, it is a turnover.
Looked like Robinson might have got a little of the ball or a little of the hand or both. Birdsong heads to the basket, whistle, stops play before he goes through.
Birdsong gets an opportunity to go one-on-one quite a bit. Here you'll see the clear out. He is a good offensive player. He takes his man inside, who is Brewer, and he certainly has his hands full.
Bob Nash called on to start in the absence of Scott Wedman. He could be out another 2 weeks. He's very fortunate to be hurt only as seriously as he was after that auto accident. It was very nearly fatal. Here is Twardzik taking it all the way through. Dave Twardzik drives to the basket for the Portland Trailblazers, and they've tied the game at 4.
Ford hurt himself there trying to dive for the ball, but you saw the good defense of Dave Twardzik. He's a fine defensive player, and today he's going to have to be.
He's got a full load against Phil Ford. Look at Twardzik come inside, fighting for the rebound. Ball comes back inbounds now to Kansas City. The Kings with Wedman out, and of course they've lost their backup center Burleson for some time. He's out with knee surgery. Lost 5 games, their baddest, worst streak of the season. 3 of those losses in overtime, though. Another was by 2 points. Michael Thompson gets the rebound. Here's Ron Brewer, rookie from Arkansas, shut off at the baseline by Ford, but he jumps right over Ford. But missed it all, and here comes Otis Birdsong on the fly. Lucas goes for him, and there's going to be a foul call.
The big guy went down in that particular play. He did a nice job of trying to draw the foul. Now, you'll get to see it here. Watch Lucas try to cut the lane off. He gets tripped from behind, and the official says, no, you can't do that.
Jack Ramsey up, a very concerned look because Lucas has been hurt earlier. He just lost his shoe on that, was putting it back on. We have a 4-4 game, 9:40 to play. There's Cotton Fitzsimmons. He's a leading candidate for Coach of the Year honors as he brings his Kings into this game with a record of 41-27 and a 5-game lead over Denver. Denver was beaten badly earlier this afternoon by Washington, 119-98. Again, the Trailblazers have trouble holding on down low. The ball turns back over to Kansas City. John?
Kansas City plays that good interior defense, Don. They're tough inside, and if you do get penetration on them, they might just knock you to the floor.
Lacey gets it out to Phil Ford, and the 6'1" backcourt player from Carolina knocks down his second field goal attempt in as many tries, and the Kings have a 6-4 lead. Other scores today: Boston beat Los Angeles 108-106. Indiana over Phoenix 112-111. Detroit beat Milwaukee 125-115, and New Jersey over Philadelphia 104-103.
We just had a foul on Robinson, and then he leads the NBA in the foul department, and it's important to his Kansas City team that he tries to stay in the game, not quite as aggressive, shouldn't commit those fouls.
Here comes Phil Ford down the floor now, penetrates inside the lane, throws it out to Sam Lacey. And Sam Lacey off the baseline of the floor, drives down the jump shot. And the Trailblazers have fallen behind 8-4.
Phil Ford is really something, no question about it. The Portland Trailblazers would like to try to push him right. They feel he prefers to go left.
Ball will turn over to Kansas City. We have an offensive foul called on Owens, his first. We have 2 team fouls against the Kings in the first period, 1 against the Trailblazers. 8:25 to play in the first period. 8-4 game. Kansas City's in the lead as Nash lets her fly. He draws a shooting foul. Maurice Lucas is called for the foul. Bob Nash will go to the free throw line. Jack Ramsey, the Portland coach, you see him up in the background, says that he had to pick one player that's probably been his best this year with all the injuries that have set in. It's probably center Tom Owens. He's been so consistent.
That was an off-ball foul. That's why they took it out on the side rather than a shooting situation.
Foul, right. And here comes Twardzik up the floor now for Portland. Down low to Michael Thompson, who heads to the basket. Thompson, a very lithe, quick player, a very good shooter out of Minnesota. They think he can be a standout player in the league. He was the #1 player picked. He gets the outlet pass up court. Twardzik loses the ball, and Birdsong comes up with a free basketball for Kansas City. Lacey coming out high, brings Owens with him. Sam Lacey takes it in on Owens. Big Sam coming across the lane, gets it down, and here is a giveaway, breakaway, Twardzik to the basket.
Smart play by Portland. They're getting the ball in very quickly, but you see the talents of Sam Lacey. He can go to the basket, he can play outside or inside.
Lacey's looking for that hoop. Took an extra step, it looked like, but they're going to call him on a foul. It's going to be on Lucas.
Tom Owens a little upset with that one. It was a blocking foul. Now Owens coming up to try to play for the jumper, but look at the quick move by Big Sam, and they say, no, you can't do that. Owens, it's a foul.
So Owens gets his first as Sam Lacey goes to the free throw line for Kansas City. Lacey's averaging under 10 points a game, 9-8. A 75% free throw shooter from New Mexico State. They felt, John, that they had the best center combination in the league here when they had Burleson backing up Lacey, but of course Burleson is gone with a knee injury. He's out for the rest of the season.
Coach Cotton Fitzsimmons told me prior to the game that he feels trying to overcome the loss of Burleson is the biggest task they've had all year. He gave them depth. He did a lot when he came in the game, and it allowed them to play different people in other positions.
Twardzik takes it down the baseline, reverses the ball off the backboard, and it's a 12-10 game. Kansas City with a 2-point lead. The Trailblazers doing a good job getting back on defense to offset Phil Ford's constant pressure. He'll try to bring the ball right through and kick it off if he can. Nash feeding off. Phil Ford assists Bob Nash. Owens holding that Walton position out by the free throw line, waiting for people to cut off him. And Michael Thompson gets the roll, and we have a 14-12 game, Kansas City.
It looked like it might have been a carry there for a moment, but the official Don Murphy said no. Before that, there was a foul. Dave Twardzik gets the foul. Here you'll get an opportunity to see it, the reach in, but the turnover right after the foul.
Sometimes it seems the whole world is burning, and you don't think it'll ever go out. But sooner or later, the fire does die, and it isn't the water and axes that do it. It's you and a handful of tired men. Now comes Miller time. Time to finally head for the best-tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
When it's time to relax, Miller stands clear. If you've got the time. Well, if you've got some time, we've got the beer. Miller beer.
It's the Chevette Victory March. With thousands of extra Chevy Chevettes during the month of March, because Chevrolet's added another plant to build America's best-selling hatchback, Chevy Chevette. Chevette will save at the gas pumps with the best EPA gas mileage rating of any American car. Chevette will save with sticker prices hundreds of dollars less than the leading foreign imports. So buy now during the Chevy Chevette Victory March with thousands of extra Chevy Chevettes during the month of March.
Next Sunday on CBS Sports Challenge of the Sexes, the competition is on the slopes, over the fences, and on the mat. See it all next Sunday. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
Inbounds to Kansas City. Here's Otis Birdsong against Ron Brewer. Robinson comes across the lane, pulls up, and gives Kansas City a 16-12 lead.
The team foul situation, the Blazers already close with 4 team fouls going into the penalty, of course, Kansas City with 2.
Tom Owens playing that high post, feeds to Maurice Lucas, and Lucas knocks down a line drive jump shot to again bring the Trailblazers to within 2 points, 16-14. Twardzik goes down. Phil Ford lets her fly. Michael Thompson off the defensive board. Here's Twardzik searching out the free man down court. Almost double clutch there.
It looked like it for just a moment. These two teams have contrasting styles defensively. Portland pushes inside, as you see Lucas take a long jumper. He can shoot that very nicely. Portland pushes inside. Kansas City likes to push outside.
Lucas has been playing extremely well in recent weeks, shooting very well. Has been troubled by the foot problem, but still his shooting's been excellent when he's been in there. Got back in the lineup Friday night. Indiana didn't do much. Now, coming down the floor is Otis Birdsong, his first points of the game. Lacey high for Kansas City with 6. Lucas has 6. And Twardzik has 6 for the Trailblazers. 2-point game, 18-16, as Lucas takes it to the basket. Shot disallowed.
Both of these clubs play similar offensively, Don. What they like to do, both would like to run, of course, if they can. If not, they'll set up half court, and they both execute their plays very well.
They both work good plays. Wojcik, the quarterback. Again, Owens out in the high post. Looks down low, and Michael Thompson comes up the baseline to slam it down.
That big guy can move well, and of course he does what Kansas City does with Birdsong at the other end. He comes off of the screen, he can reverse underneath, he got the basket.
And that tied the game. Here's Birdsong, partially deflected by Ron Brewer. Michael Thompson with the ball, kicks it back to Brewer, and Ron Brewer takes it down low. Lucas lets fly, and Maurice Lucas has the touch. He's put up 4, hit them all. He's got 8 points, leads all scorers, and for the first time, the Trailblazers are in the lead, 20-18.
Interesting thing about Lucas, when he came out of Marquette, one of his biggest concerns was his shooting ability, and in the pros, he puts it in very well.
Lacey comes back, hits another from the outside. I know you worked with him a lot, didn't you, John?
Yes, I did, and I really didn't expect him to be the shooter he is.
Wojcik drives on through, feeds off to Owens, and the Trailblazers are back in the lead, 22-20. Wojcik will have a lot of pressure on him because as soon as Ford goes out, they're bringing a guard in just as quick, and Billy McKinney. Robinson beats his man with that good first step, takes it to the basket, tie game at 22.
Isn't it amazing the way these big guys can move in professional basketball? 6'8", 6'10", 230 and 40, and they move sometimes like little quick guards.
Well, Jack Ramsey says they're the greatest athletes in the world as a group. If they're not, he says, show me who is. They run, they jump, they head to the basket. Lucas takes it through, and that basket will go. Bob Gross on the bench, along with Larry Steele, a couple of Trailblazers.
Here you'll see Maurice Lucas fake the shot. They have to play him because he's been putting it in. And watch the big guy go to the basket. He comes right back at Robazine and says, hey, I can do that too.
Lucas comes into the game averaging 21 a game, just under a 20.8. He's already has 10 in the first period. He's been the key as the Trailblazers now lead by 2. Here's Bobby Gross coming into the game for the first time. Owens goes out.
Now that will move Michael Thompson into the pivot position, although even with Maurice Lucas, he could play the pivot also. He's a pretty big guy. They have a big front line.
I think the Trailblazers giving Kansas City defense something to think about now, switching people in and out the pivot. And Thompson switches off. He has Lacey. Now here's a low pass down low. Birdsong quickly takes a look, finds an open lane down the baseline of the court and drives in, takes the pass, lays it in. Game is tied at 24.
Portland trying to play the jump shot for Birdsong, but he goes back door, and that's the second time he's scored that way.
Maurice Lucas, I don't recall him missing one, John. He's got 12 in the first period. He's been the difference as the Trailblazers lead 26-24.
He told us last night he was hurt.
Yeah. A couple more weeks before he's ready. So he said. Now Birdsong puts in his second field goal.
Bob Nash came back that time, and of course he scored. And they want more scoring out of him at that particular position. They were averaging 27.5 with Scott Wedman. Now that he's been out, they're averaging 13.5.
Attention Track 2 users, attention Aptra users. Get ready for really clean shaving. Introducing Ultrex from Schick Super 2. The only twin blades with one push cleaning. Watch, one push pushes out soap and stubble for a clean start on really close shaves. Look, Ultrex slides on Track 2 razors, clicks on Aptra razors. Get new Ultrex with one push cleaning. Only Schick Super 2 Ultrex has one push cleaning.
You know me as Mr. Goodwrench, the professional mechanic who cares about your GM car. But your participating GM dealer also has a Mr. Goodwrench who cares at the service write-up desk and in the parts department. We're all over the service department, just to be sure your GM car gets Mr. Goodwrench professional care.
You never had it so good.
Keep that great GM feeling
With Mr. Goodwrench.
That's us.
and genuine GM parts.
State Farm Agent Ray Bernard.
As I say, the only thing we sell is service. The least thing I can give is to be nice along with that service. And when it gets to where I can't be just as nice to someone when they come in with a problem or with a claim as when they come in to buy insurance, then I better get out of the business or take a few days off.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Okay, again, recapping those scores we gave you earlier. Boston beat Los Angeles 108-106. Washington over Denver 119-98. Indiana beat Phoenix 112-111. Detroit over Milwaukee 125-115. New Jersey 104. Philadelphia 103. So now you have them. 2:55 left to play in the first period. 26-26 game. Robinson comes up with the ball. Kicks it up to Phil Ford. Down the middle. Left lane fills with Nash. And Ford takes it back. Here's Ford back with the ball in the corner, shooting on Ron Brewer. Phil Ford hitting home run balls from that corner.
Little guy really has the ability to go inside or outside. You have to play him, and that makes it tough because he'll go by you when you come up on him.
Michael Thompson throws up a shot, draws a foul. Sam Lacey says, I didn't do it, but he did.
Be careful, Sam. It gets expensive.
Michael Thompson goes to the free throw line. Comes into the game with a 13-point-a-game average, only a 62% free throw shooter.
His coaches, they feel he's an outstanding defensive player for a young guy and probably one of the best offensive rebounders in pro basketball.
That is the area they think he will really blossom in. The all-important element, offensive rebounds. Probably the toughest commodity in the game. Signed to a 5-year contract with the Trailblazers after being the #1 player selected in the last draft. Minnesota's all-time leading scorer. Big Sam Lacey now has 10 for Kansas City as they're in the lead 30-28.
I picked up on Sam Lacey. He's talking to Rooney, Walter Rooney, the official at the other end, saying, see, that's for you. Rooney almost blew a technical on it.
Twardzik down low. Working hard. Twardzik hits the deck. Nash rebounds Kansas City. 3-on-2 break. Robinson on the left gets a lead from Ford. And that is what has made Phil Ford such a spectacular addition to the Kansas City Kings to the NBA. His ability to penetrate and assist.
That's what Portland cannot let Kansas City do. Get out on the break like that.
Already in the first period, Phil Ford has 6 assists. And now the Kings come back the other way. Leading by 4, 32-28. Down low to the basket. Robinson driving across, but he was hit inside. Could be on Gross.
Here we'll get a chance to see the outlet pass by Ford. He sees the fast break, and once again, Robinson down the court quickly for a big guy. Bobby Gross trying to come in and protect. A little too much.
So Robinson goes to the free throw line now for Kansas City from DePaul. He's a 12, almost a 13-point-a-game scorer. Richard Washington comes into the game. Sam Lacey gets a rest. One thing was fortunate for Kansas City's fortunes. When Burleson did go down, it was just about that time that Richard Washington was coming off the injury list.
Right, he broke a bone in his foot, although Cotton Fitzsimmons says he's really not ready, but he's playing.
You see the time winding down in the first period. 1:20 to go in it. As Brewer almost had an over and back called against him. Here's Twardzik. It's 34-28. Kansas City with its biggest lead. Down low, Lucas, who's been so tough, doesn't get it to go inside, but keeps working for the ball and tips it back to Ron Brewer. Michael Thompson takes it in. Just before the shot clock ran out, Michael Thompson gets it down. Brings the Trailblazers back to within 4. As we're now inside a minute to go in the first period, Phil Ford to the basket. Rebound to Lucas. Outlet pass Twardzik. Robinson's back to defend against him. And so Dave Twardzik at 6'1" thinks the better of going inside. Now he takes it through. Ball's going to go back the other way to Kansas City.
Twardzik trying to give some penetration there, but he normally does not take a bad shot. That time he was a little off balance under pressure. As a matter of fact, his first 2 years for the Portland Trailblazers, he shot over 60% from the field. That's amazing.
Golden State leading Chicago in 1918. First period score at Oakland, California. Leading scorers in this game for the Kansas City Kings. Lacey has 10. Robinson has 10. Phil Ford has 6 assists and 6 points. Leading scorers for the Trailblazers, Lucas with 12 points. Michael Thompson has 10. Twardzik has 6. Bob Nash at the free throw line. You see he hits 77% from there. Ron Behagen, they see him all over the league now. He's been getting these 10-day contracts.
You get enough of them, it keeps you in a job, right?
Need a lot.
Because Kansas City felt they wanted to pick up a big guy. They needed that strength in there with the injuries they've had. Therefore, Ron Behagen has a job.
Most recently, he was with the New York Knicks. Now the free throw by Nash makes it a 36-30 game. Kansas City again with a 6-point lead. Here's Gross out high looking for people cutting that motion offense as T.R. Dunn is now in the game for Portland. And Bob Gross takes it through himself, hooks it in off the glass. Brings the Trailblazers back to within 4 as we're winding out the first period. Bill Ford looks over. Captain Fitzsimmons off the bench, shouts out a play.
Bill Ford, a very smart player, especially for a rookie. He knows when to hold it up. He knows when to push it. T.R. Dunn has his hands full right now.
Bill Ford takes it himself. Rebound knocks off. 5 seconds. T.R. Dunn's going to let her fire just before the first quarter. And he gets the roll. So we've got a 2-point game after the first 12 minutes. T.R. Dunn from Alabama comes down the floor. Hits a bank shot. A little good fortune on that for T.R. The Trailblazers. But they're back to within 2. We'll be back with the second period in a moment.
This is it.
This is it. Chevrolet.
America, if you're looking for a full-size car that goes easy on the gas.
This is it.
And easy on the road.
This is it.
A car with all kinds of room inside.
This is it.
The new Chevrolet, a new generation car bought and embraced by more than 1 million people in its first 2 years. Caprice and Impala for 1979.
This is it. America, the new Chevrolet.
Because we fly a whole new world of travelers, we know the world expects good service from an airline and at a great price. So we have our full-service economy class, offering every Pan Am passenger complete service no matter how inexpensive their ticket. For a lot of people, economy is the best idea an airline can have.
We fly the world the way the world wants to fly.
I'm Jamal Wilkes of the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'm concerned. Concerned about the trauma caused by child abuse. I'm concerned about problems faced by the sick, the aged, and the handicapped. I'm concerned about my community, and that's why I support United Way, because they are concerned. United Way, thanks to you, it works for all of us.
Another big house in Kansas City following the Midwest leaders, the Kings. They're in a 2-point game with Portland. The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. So Kansas City opened up a 4-point lead, fell behind by 4, then opened up a 6-point lead, and finally, with Jack Ramsey on his feet and looking out at his Trailblazers, T.R. Dunn, who has the ball, hit the final shot of the first period to make it 2 points again. Kansas City in the lead as we open now with Tom Owens back in at center for the Trailblazers. Bobby Gross to the basket and gets it off glass. Another driving shot by Gross ties the game at 36.
Bobby Gross is good at going to the basket. He's a smart player.
Smooth player.
He moves continually. He's very difficult to play against.
A very integral part of that motion offense. Always on the move, Bob Gross. Both these teams employ excellent teamwork. Give up the ball, hit the free man. That's why they win. Gus Gerard in the game, had it through. It came back out on him. Somebody with a bad touch. Otis Birdsong, who usually has a very good one, didn't get it to go down. And T.R. Dunn hurries the ball up court for Portland. Hey, big Michael Thompson's getting real aggressive inside. He got the shot down with a charge.
Ron Behagen played that very nicely. 2 pretty big guys, but watch him body now. A lot of contact here, but he anticipates the move inside. Behagen gets there first. The official calls the foul.
Bill Ford throws to Behagen, loops it down low. Gus Gerard snuck in that back door. On a reverse layout, Jack McKinney and Jack Ramsey, the 2 coaches at Portland, up protesting something. It's a 38-36 game. Portland trailing by 2 as T.R. Dunn fires. Little too much on it. Gerard at 6'6", who can sky, gets up, contends for the rebound with Owens. The ball comes back inbounds to Portland.
Gerard getting an opportunity to play now. He didn't play much at all, but with the injury to Scott Wedman, he's seeing a lot of playing time.
Bill Ford takes it down, feeds off to Behagen. Protected the ball, and what do we have here?
Loose ball foul. Gus Gerard coming in for the missed shot, but T.R. Dunn was there first, had inside position, got the rebound, and drew the foul.
T.R. Dunn goes into the lane, loops up a jump shot, knocks it down. It's 38-38. The game is all tied up as we have 10-10 left to play first half. This is Don Quickie with John McLaughlin, Kemper Arena, Kansas City. Birdsong fires, doesn't get it there. But rebounding for the Kings is Richard Washington, and the big guy from UCLA can't get it to go. And here comes Ron Brewer on the run, a 6'4" rookie out of Arkansas. Feeds off to Owens, heads to the basket on Washington. And there's a foul call inside.
Portland running the break very nicely that time, finding the trailer. Owens, of course, being the trailer here. Now watch the big guy step inside, draw the foul. Actually, he hasn't been involved in their offense at all so far throughout the first quarter.
Owens, an 18.2 point a game scorer, 6'10" out of South Carolina. He's with his 7th professional team at Portland. Spent time in the ABA. Dave Twardzik comes back into the basketball game for Portland. So Owens, after the Trailblazers trail by 6, gives them a 1-point lead, 39-38. Phil Ford pulls up, and Owens sweeps in, clears the defensive board. Outlet goes to Twardzik. Phil Ford is there to stop him, and Dave Twardzik took an elbow. I saw it happen, John, from one of his own men who just swung around and inadvertently got him right in the ribs.
It looked like it hurt him quite a bit. He kind of let up there for a moment defensively, and that's why he called the 22nd timeout. He ran into a big guy.
I think it might have been Owens who got him. Shot in the ribs, so they take a 20-second injury timeout.
Of course, they're without Lionel Hollins, their outstanding guard, who's missed a few games with the flu. They don't have a lot of depth at the guard position now, so Twardzik better be all right, huh?
But he'll play hurt. He's done that. Good part of last season he played hurt. And he is still hurt as he wins his little coming up floor on the right-hand dribble. Here is Gross on the outside. Now lots of movement in the Portland offense, but not where the ball is, and it turns over to Kansas City. Phil Ford gets the ball over to Otis Birdsong. Twardzik body checks him. No foul. Looked like a charge. What do we have?
Has to be something. The official certainly didn't call it there. They called the foul on the rebound, I believe. That should have been either charging or blocking, one or the other. Here you'll get a chance to see it. Birdsong going up for the shot. He knows he has a mismatch. Twardzik standing his ground. And here you see the rebound and the foul underneath.
Jack Ramsey wonders when's the whistle going to come our way as we have a timeout. 9:15 to play in the first half. A 1-point game, Portland.
General Motors does make a lot of cars, but a lot of people don't know that we are the biggest producer of diesel electric locomotives. My kids call it the locomotive factory.
John Schranz, locomotive tester. This is who we are and what we do at General Motors.
We test the final product. When we start the locomotive up for the first time, it rumbles a little bit and it runs. It's just a great feeling. They call us the glory people, but it takes everybody to make a product. Everybody's got to be good, and they are. They are craftsmen in their own way. It's hard to explain. It is a relationship, man and his machine. That engine is probably the best engine in the world. We need the railroad industry. There's no two ways around it. We are part of it, and I think we do a heck of a job.
General Motors. People building transportation to serve people.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Hey, where's Bob?
I thought he was with you.
No, you're kidding.
He's not down yet.
Hey, what do you think something happened?
Let's start looking.
Hey! I'm on a low brow!
Bob!
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Hey, you know, for a minute there, you really had us worried.
I know. Thanks.
Next Saturday on the new look CBS Sports Spectacular, see Nordic ski jumping from the Holmenkollen Festival in Norway, plus the Pro Ice Spectacular and the CBS Sports Fight of the Week. You'll say, you saw it on CBS Sports.
The Portland Trailblazers have come from 6 points down in the second period to take a 1-point lead, 39-38. In the game for Portland, Maurice Lucas, Bob Gross, Tom Owens, T.R. Dunn, and Dave Twardzik. as Gus Gerard inbounds the ball now for Kansas City. Phil Ford and Lucius Allen with the ball working in the backcourt. Behagen's down low along with Gus Gerard and Richard Washington. Ron Behagen pulls up. They don't want him taking that. He's not an outside shooter, and he hadn't been here that long to really be warmed up. Here comes Twardzik back the other way. Portland's a great, great team for seeing when to run and when not to. And that's a big determination that the good teams are able to make. Down inside, Owens gets the basket, and Portland opens up a 41-38 lead.
That's one of the reasons Owens is shooting 55% on the year. He gets a lot of inside shots, but the big guy can shoot very well for a big man.
Lucius Allen, Richard Washington, a couple of U-clans feeding off the ball. Phil Ford came around. Richard Washington didn't see him. They made a misconnection. Ball goes inbounds to the Portland Trailblazers on the turnover. Here's Big Luke coming back in. Maurice Lucas, who hit for 12 first period points.
Billy McKinney in for Kansas City on the backcourt along with Lucius Allen.
We have 8.5 minutes to go in the first half. Portland is in the lead 41-38. The Kansas City Kings with one of the best home court records in the NBA. Looking to get back the lead. Lucas fires, doesn't put much arc on it, doesn't need any. He's got the right range. Right down again, and Lucas has 14 points to lead all scorers. Twardzik still with that heavy defensive load as he's got another quick guard. This one's fresh in the game. Billy McKinney that you mentioned, John. And here's Lucius Allen pulling up. Foul call goes against Portland.
With this combination in the game for Kansas City, McKinney and Allen on the back line, McKinney becomes the ball handler. So we get an opportunity to look at the foul once again. Lucius Allen making the fake very nicely, drawing Dunn into the air, drawing the foul and putting the ball up. Allen becomes the scorer in this situation, and McKinney is responsible for running the club somewhat like Phil Ford does.
Cotton Fitzsimmons looking on. He said, stay with us and believe we're still going to win the division. He said this after they lost their 5th game in a row recently. We mentioned 3 of those 5 losses in overtime. That's an NBA record, 3 in a row.
Between Ramsey and Cotton Fitzsimmons, they spend their entire game on one knee on a towel. They must have a lot of towels out or a lot of pants out.
Well, Cotton will tell you when the low target is less of a chance for a tee. Fishes doesn't seem to bother him as much, he says, when you're out there shouting off the bench on one knee.
They can't find you.
Cotton's tough to find standing.
What a guy.
Right now, we have 7:53 to go. First half. Michael Thompson, Lucas gets it down low to Owens. And here's T.R. Dunn pulling up, letting her fly. Rebound tapped up by Bob Gross. The roll goes for Portland and Mr. Gross. And the Trailblazers have their biggest lead, 45-39. Lucas moving very well for having a bad foot.
That was a beautiful move by Gross. You must check him off the boards. He's very active.
And now Kansas City has some problems holding on to the ball inside as Lacey kicks it away. And it comes back inbounds to the Portland Trailblazers. They look now to extend their lead. It's the biggest of the game for them, 6 points.
Well, Kansas City certainly misses Scott Wedman here. You see a just simple give and go. Portland trying to set up an offensive play where Owens comes high. They hit him. Gross goes back door on one side, and Twardzik, as you can see here, he comes to the middle and gets the handoff and the foul.
The Trailblazers have a big week coming up. They'll be home after this 4-game road trip to play Atlanta, a hot club on Tuesday night at Portland. And then the next night they're down in San Diego for the big matchup with the San Diego Clippers, a team they trail at the moment by 1 game. They bid for the final playoff spot. Here's Owens heading to the basket, banking it in. And it's a 47-39 game, and all of a sudden the Trailblazers start to move it out. Twardzik, who's been working hard against these quick backcourt players from Kansas City, sticks with McKinney. Ball goes over to Nash for the shot, but there was a penalty before that, a foul. And it's going to turn over now to Portland.
We have a moving pick under the basket. The Kings trying to set up their play, and you'll see it to the right. Now, Lucius Allen moving the pick just a little right there. The official says, no, can't do that. That's a foul.
And now Kansas City is going to call a timeout. Cotton Fitzsimmons wants to counsel his team before this thing gets out of hand with 6:50 to play in the first half. It is Portland 47, Kansas City 39. We'll be back in a moment.
We're going to
take you on an impossible business trip. 26 cities in 25 seconds. You'll find an airport Hilton in every one of these cities. So the next time you have an impossible business trip, remember Hilton. We can make an airport a great place to get your feet back on the ground.
There's no place like Hilton.
Daddy, Marvin has something to tell you.
My 79 Chevy Monza wagon has more cargo room than any American sedan.
Marvin?
Even with the back seat up. And Monza is Chevrolet's lowest priced wagon.
Very nice.
Marvin?
Monza wagon has an impressive EPA mileage rating.
Marvin?
It has standard bucket seats, I Want to Marry Your Daughter, and white striped tires. Sir?
Oh, Marvin, he likes you.
Feeling good about yourself. The way you should about yourself.
You're feeling good about yourself, and it shows. You're drinking 1-calorie Diet Pepsi-Cola, the taste that's changing the taste of America.
And you're drinking Diet Pepsi. Yeah, you're drinking Diet Pepsi. And it shows.
With John McLaughlin, and this is Don Criqui as Cotton Fitzsimmons sends his Kings back out onto the playing floor. Kemper Arena, Kansas City. Cotton can chatter. He gets that conversation going now, the officials, as Twardzik brings the ball up. The Trailblazers, down by 6, have now opened up a 47-39 lead. Lucas, who couldn't get that shot to go, has been the big scorer with 14. Bob Gross has played a big game since he's come off the bench. Did not start today. Lucas out high, goes to Owens, down low to T.R. Dunn. Protects the ball going up as Lucius Allen swiped at it. It's a 10-point lead for the Blazers.
Beautiful movement off the ball. They execute their offense so very well. They're patient. They get 2 points. Looked like a foul on Lacey. Donnie was trying. He had inside position, and he wanted to keep that inside position. He used a little bit too much body, and the official called a foul.
Jack Ramsey has an interesting philosophy on approaching the long season. He takes it in sections and has his team do the same. They look at this 4-game road trip as one section, like they played in New York one night. As Tom Owens takes to the basket, and the Trailblazers open up a 12-point lead. Played well in New York. Had to go to New Orleans the next night. He said, physically, we couldn't play with the same intensity we did in New York. We just tried to hang in and win it down the stretch. And we got our chance, and that's what happened.
You know, it takes a smart team to be able to adjust like that also, Don.
I thought that was interesting, though. You can't play the same every night. Physically, you just can't go the full 48.
Especially if you're a running team.
And everybody is now.
If they aren't, they would like to be. A lot of activity under the boards. Loose ball foul.
We have 5, but now 4 team fouls against Kansas City. They change it on the official total. What's this call that turns the ball over?
It was a loose ball foul on Robinson.
That's his 3rd. Robinson gets the loose ball foul. 2 team fouls on the Trailblazers here in the second period. 5:19 to play in the first half. Lucas takes a look, 3-man cut. Gross gets the ball off the baseline. 2 men shut him off, so he sets it up again. Twardzik lets her fire just before the shot clock goes. Look at Gross tap it over to Owens. Reject by Lacey. And a travel call against the Blazers.
Smart move by Bobby Gross. He was right there, tipped the ball over, but of course the traveling on Owens.
Atlanta's tough, beat Seattle today, 27-14 in the first period. Otis Birdsong, who's been quiet for the most part in this game, has but 4 points. He's the leading point producer for the Kansas City Kings. Gets the shot away. Doesn't get it to go, but he did draw the foul.
Now, Portland changed up their offense a little. They started going into their movement offense, which I believe they call their 5 offense. And if we get an opportunity to show you, you can see how they just continually move on the ball, off the ball, as much as possible so that they'll come up with something. That's how they got the lead. Now, at the other end, Kansas City, of course, wanting to get back into their game. They want to push the ball. They've got to play the good defense, though. If the other team's putting it in, you can't run very well.
Otis Birdsong can't get the second free throw, but it works well for Kansas City as Lacey scoops it down. Lucas knocks it away. Gross picks it up. And those Trailblazers are always looking for the flank and somebody streaking down court. That time they were covered, so they set it up, go to Twardzik. Kansas City's only scored 4 points this quarter. Here's Lucas, and again the big guy from Marquette gets the roll for Portland. Trailblazers extend their lead to the biggest of the game, a 13-point advantage. 53-40. Michael Thompson getting set to come back in now for the Blazers. Birdsong starts to the basket, fires up. It'll be a foul call against Portland. We'll watch it again here, John.
Kansas City just swings the ball around to Otis Birdsong, and they like to get him in a one-on-one situation because he is good. There he faked the shot up, started to go to the basket, but Dunn fouled him.
Bob Nash lets her fly. Nash to the high arcing shot off the baseline, cuts the Portland lead to 11. We have 4:05 left to play first half. The Portland Trailblazers in back. Moving it out. Lucas let it rip. He's been hot. That time too much on the ball. Rebound comes down to Owens. Fights to get the shot up. Draws the foul.
Portland getting a lot of offensive rebounds now, and you can't allow that. When you let a team get the ball back time after time, they're eventually going to put it in, and they're normally going to get pretty good shots, pretty good percentage shots, let me say, because the offensive rebounds are generally close, like that one by Owens.
Owens had a big load to carry. Of course, there is still a distinct possibility that Bill Walton could be back with the Trailblazers this season. Right now, he's climbing tall trees in the faraway islands, looking at strange birds.
He has to climb a tall tree. He's a pretty tall person.
I wonder what that rare bird's thinking. What's this coming up to check me out, this big red head?
That big red head is a great basketball player.
Oh, man. He's in great shape. He just has to wait a little longer for that foot that's now healed to fully come back. Hey, there's guys thumping and crashing inside, including the big guy, Maurice Lucas, who thunders in, sweeps the defensive board clean, and the Trailblazers with a 13-point lead bring it up, set it down. They run a very nice pace game. They'll run when there's the opening, and then they'll take it and slow it down, run plays. Phil Ford, one-on-one with Twardzik. He doesn't give a thing away. I tell you, these defensive players are so good. It's so tough for the officials to decide, is it blocking or is it charging?
It sure is tough. And here's a typical Ford move as we see it again. He likes to take you right, spin, come back to his left, and either shoot or pass off.
Phil Ford heads to the free throw line. Ford comes into the game as a 15-point-a-game score, just over 15. He's an 80% free throw shooter. Last year at the University of North Carolina, he was the Atlantic Coast Conference Athlete of the Year. In fact, he got that award 2 straight years and was the College Player of the Year, the #1 player selected in the draft. He's turned this team around. As everyone knows who follows this game, the Kings were dead last in the Midwest Division, and coming into this game, they have a 5-game lead over Denver, a club that really has a problem potentially with making the playoffs. We could have Portland and San Diego both making it if the Nuggets continue to slump.
Here you'll see some off-ball movement. Now watch this. Portland continually moving, and watch Behagen come around the screen. Pushes a little too much, but that's what off-ball movement will do against defense.
3:13 left to play in the first half here at Kemper Arena, Kansas City. 55-43. The Trailblazers in the black and red uniforms are in the lead. Maurice Lucas is the leading scorer in the game at the line with 16 points. He comes back to good health, and he certainly appears to be that in this game, John.
Yeah, if he says he's injured now, I hate to see what happens when he gets healthy. Both teams in the penalty.
Big Luke will shoot 2.
Have to give him a lot of credit, Don. We talked about his shooting. He spent a lot of time in the gyms working on it day after day. He knew that was a weakness, and he wasn't going to let it stop him from playing pro ball.
A 79% free throw shooter, and now the Trailblazers are in the lead, 57-43. Lacey feeds off, coming around the top is Birdsong. Michael Thompson gets it, fires it down court to Twardzik, and he's got one gear, full speed ahead, out to Owens, and Tom Owens extends the Portland lead to 59-43 as the Trailblazers, coming into the game an underdog, are playing a very big basketball game as they're also important now down the stretch run. Phil Ford went down hard. They're going to call him on a turnover.
The ball goes the other way. I certainly didn't expect this to happen this early. Portland coming out playing very well. Kansas City's pressing a little now in their offense. They're going to have to settle down and play the way they know how to play.
This family takes their Sunday drive on Suzuki street bikes. Mom rides the GS 425, Dad the new 850 Shaft, and Junior the Quick 1000. Nice thing about a family that rides together is they don't have to stay together.
Suzuki, the performer ride.
Owens Corning built this glass house so you can see all the places insulation can save money, new home or old. Your attic. In severe climates, you may need insulating power up to R38, a foot of pink Owens Corning fiberglass. Another place to insulate. Floors over unheated garages or crawl spaces, and walls exposed to cold or heat.
Put your house in the pink. Get Owens Corning fiberglass insulation now. It's cheaper than oil.
Avis Super Saver rates. Special rates that save you money. Like our 7-day See America rate.
Look out, L.A. Bye.
Or our special holiday rates.
We get to go to the grandmother's house.
And on weekends, Avis Super Saver rates can save you up to 50% off our weekday rates.
50% off?
Up to 50%.
See you Monday.
Call our toll-free number or your travel consultant. Some restrictions do apply.
Next Saturday, the new look CBS Sports Spectacular. You'll see ski jumping, the Holmenkollen ski jumping, a festival from Norway. 100 years old now. The Pro Ice Spectacular Part 2. People like Peggy Fleming and John Curry performed, and the world bantamweight champion Carlos Cerati and Messan Capalogo. Next Saturday on the new look CBS Sports Spectacular.
Beautiful play. Now you'll see the ball going to Owens. Now watch Lucas come around Thompson, slide right back into the middle, go up for the shot, and the foul's called on Ron Behagen. Boy, that's a tough play. And the way that Portland runs it, it's almost impossible to stop. You have a lot of big people moving. You just see Behagen agreeing with me, obviously.
I'll tell you one thing. When Big Luke heads to the basket, he is all business.
You know, Behagen is a pretty big guy, but compared to Lucas, he's not quite that big.
Got that business on his hip, man.
Got some size in this game.
Tell you one thing, Lucas goes back into peak form, and Hollins comes back, and if Walton is ever back, could be Rip City all over again.
That's right. With the added Michael Thompson to give them depth.
Kansas City's misfiring right now. Trailblazers are 11 all this on the bench. There's a happy group over there. 60-43. Portland with a 17-point lead, 2:10 to play in the first half. Now Kansas City gets an overmatch. 4-on-2 break. Otis Birdsong to the basket. Again, Dave Korzik sacrifices his body for love of the game. Birdsong's not getting up.
Twardzik used to be 6'2". Now you'll get a chance to see it. The fast break. You can't see it real well, but just enough. Twardzik getting over to try to take the lane away from Birdsong. He didn't get there in time, the official says. Blocking foul.
Otis Birdsong hits the deck hard, so he's attended to. In this game, the Portland Trailblazers have had absolutely extraordinary shooting percentage. Over 72%. They've hit 26 of 36 shots.
And that tells the story because the ball is going in, Don, and when the ball is going in, Kansas City does not have the opportunity to run that fast break, and they must run to play well.
Tell you one thing, if you lose shooting 72%, you better fold up your tent and go look for a new enterprise.
Of course, the NBA this year, it's unbelievable what teams are shooting now.
Well, the Los Angeles Lakers could set an all-time league record.
You know who holds that record?
The Milwaukee Bucks.
That's right.
Here's Larry Steele coming in now to play in the backcourt of Portland. Michael Thompson, Larry Steele, Tom Owens, Ron Brewer's back in, and Maurice Lucas has done the big job. In the game for Kansas City, Birdsong at the free throw line. Richard Washington, Ron Behagen, Phil Ford, and Bob Nash. It's 60-45 Portland. 1:59 to play first half.
Portland has done an excellent job on Ford. He scored a lot early in the first quarter, but he's been relatively silent in the second. He's the pulse of the Kings.
Lucas takes a look down low. Behagen guarding him. Owens now putting moves on Richard Washington, and Tom Owens with a head fake and a pump fake gets it in 5 feet away.
And now's when they could use Tom Burleson.
Birdsong can't lose Steele, wanted to drive on him, but Otis Birdsong's jump shot does not go. And Nash comes away with the offensive rebound. Phil Ford goes for the shot. Ron Brewer goes for Phil Ford, and they both hit the deck. We've got some big people thumping down pretty hard out there, John.
Brewer actually blocked that shot, but he came into Ford with the body. I don't know how he got it. Ford saw him coming, tried to put it up a little higher, but it wasn't quite high enough. Still the little guy's on the line. And missing. It's interesting. He's a fine shooter, but he puts almost no rotation on the ball, and that's very unusual.
And some of his jump shots are like a knuckleball. They float
Yes.
up. 62-48. The Trailblazers in the lead, playing away on the home floor of the Kansas City Kings. Portland with a big lead. Ron Brewer now sets it up, and here's Lucas with the ball. Top scorer in the game, he is 19. 1:08 to go, first period. Lucas to the basket. Rebound of Michael Thompson. I'll tell you, Lucas is hot about something.
He thought he was fouled. Oh. Well, if you're going to get one, make it good. Here you'll get an opportunity to see it. A nice pass to Behagen, who got in the lane, but Lucas got caught up in the air and decided it's too late now. I'll make it good.
One thing about Lucas, he'll play rough and he will back it up. He didn't want Behagen to get the three, so he just held on so he couldn't release the ball. Now Ron Behagen with 3 chances to make 2. He has 2 coming. Chance of the hat trick after missing the first one.
Behagen wearing 2 different makes of shoes.
Right. I guess when you get these 10-day tryouts, you got to go with whatever the...
Whatever you got. From no playing time and no job to a lot of playing time.
.50 seconds left to go in the first half now. 64-50. Lucas down low goes to Larry Steele, and Michael Thompson loses the ball. Here comes Ford. Bill Ford weaving, feeds out to Lucius Allen. And Larry Steele rebounds for the Blazers. Ron Brewer on the run. To Michael Thompson, back to Brewer. Offensive call on Ron Brewer, and the ball goes over to Kansas City.
Nice play by Lucius Allen. Took the shot at the other end. He got back quickly to help protect on the fast break and drew the foul. Birdsong in, Allen out.
Here comes Phil Ford. You see the first half clock winding down. 20 seconds to go. The Trailblazers continue to lead the game 64-50. Phil Ford going to gear up now for that final play of the half. Birdsong, Steele right with him. And Steele tips the ball away. Back in bounds, but there's only 9 seconds left to get something off.
Larry Steele is a fine defensive player, and he knew what was coming that time. Played right up on Birdsong very nicely.
3 difference. 6. 4 difference on that play.
We're having a difference between the shot clock and the game clock here. They've had some difficulty with the shot clock all day.
6 would have went off, God. Okay. Fine. There was 4 difference when the play started. 24-28.
The shot clock, the officials say, should be down to 6 seconds, not 9 seconds where it was. That's the game clock in the lower portion. The shot clock up higher. Now it goes to 5. Keep working on it, they'll run out of time.
Well, there's enough time.
Phil Ford lets something fly, hoping for the best. Did not work out.
Violation! Violation!
That's a violation on the shot clock.
Now we're going to have an interpretation here. Professor Ramsey comes out. Coach Fitzsimmons.
I just, hey, ball went out. I made a mistake. Okay.
It did hit the board. The official said violation. Cotton got up to contest it. We're going to go back to a jump ball because of the mistake by the official.
Okay, we've had coaches stand the whole time in this one. Larry Steele gives his best effort on the final play of the first half, and the numbers are up now through the first 24 minutes of play. The Portland Trailblazers with a superior effort, extraordinary shooting. The Trailblazers, as underdog, go out in front 64-50. We'll be back with some halftime features in a moment.
I got Midas-sized in 19 minutes, 32 seconds. A new world's record.
I got Midas-sized in 27 minutes flat. So why'd I bother to get out of the car?
Midas can usually Midas-size your car in 30 minutes or less. And if anything ever goes wrong, we'll replace the muffler free for as long as you own your American or foreign car. In a hurry, come to Midas.
Owens with a head fake and a pump fake gets it in 5 feet away.
And now's when they could use Tom Burleson.
Birdsong can't lose Steele, wanted to drive on him, but Otis Birdsong's jump shot does not go. And Nash comes away with the offensive rebound. Phil Ford goes for the shot. Ron Brewer goes for Phil Ford, and they both hit the deck. We've had some big people thumping down pretty hard out there, John.
Brewer actually blocked that shot, but he came into Ford with the body. I don't know how he got it. Ford saw him coming, tried to put it up a little higher, but it wasn't quite high enough. Still the little guy's on the line. And missing. It's interesting. He's a fine shooter, but he puts almost no rotation on the ball, and that's very unusual.
And some of his jump shots feel like a knuckleball. They float up. 62-48. The Trailblazers in the lead, playing away on the home floor of the Kansas City Kings. Portland with a big lead. Ron Brewer now sets it up, and here's Lucas with the ball. Top scorer in the game, he has 19. 1:08 to go, first period. Lucas to the basket. Rebound of Michael Thompson. I tell you, Lucas is hot about something.
He thought he was fouled. Oh. Well, if you're going to get one, make it good. Here you'll get an opportunity to see it. A nice pass to Behagen, who got in the lane, but Lucas got caught up in the air and decided it's too late now. I'll make it good.
One thing about Lucas, he'll play rough and he will back it up. He didn't want Behagen to get the three-point play, so he just held on so he couldn't release the ball. Now Ron Behagen with 3 chances to make 2. He has 2 coming. Chance of the hat trick after missing the first one.
Behagen wearing 2 different makes of shoes.
Right. I guess when you get these 10-day tryouts, you got to go with a little bit of
whatever you got. From no playing time and no job to a lot of playing time.
50 seconds left to go in the first half now. 64-50. Lucas down low goes to Larry Steele, and Michael Thompson loses the ball. Here comes Ford. Bill Ford weaving, feeds out to Lucius Allen. And Larry Steele rebounds for the Blazers. Ron Brewer on the run. To Michael Thompson, back to Brewer. Offensive call on Ron Brewer, and the ball goes over to Kansas City.
Nice play by Lucius Allen. Took the shot at the other end. He got back quickly to help protect on the fast break and drew the foul. Birdsong in, Allen out.
Here comes Phil Ford. You see the first half clock winding down. 20 seconds to go. The Trailblazers continue to lead the game 64-50. Phil Ford going to gear up now for that final play of the half. Birdsong, Steele right with him. And Steele tips the ball away. Back in bounds, but there's only 9 seconds left to get something off.
Larry Steele is a fine defensive player, and he knew what was coming that time. Played right up on Birdsong very nicely.
3 difference. 6. 4 difference on that play.
We're having a difference between the shot clock and the game clock here. They've had some difficulty with the shot clock all day.
6 when it went off, God. Okay. Don't mind. There was 4 difference when the play started. 24, 28. 6 when it went off.
The shot clock, the officials say, should be down to 6 seconds, not 9 seconds where it was. That's the game clock in the lower portion. The shot clock up higher. Now it goes to 5. Keep working on it, they'll run out of time.
Oh, there's enough time.
Bill Ford lets something fly, hoping for the best. Does not work out.
Violation! Violation!
That's a violation on the shot clock.
Now we're going to have an interpretation here. Professor Ramsey comes out. Coach Fitzsimmons.
I just, hey, ball went out. I made a mistake. Okay.
It did hit the board. The official said violation. Cotton got up to contest it. We're going to go back to a jump ball because of the mistake by the official.
Okay, we've had coaches stand the whole time in this one. Larry Steele gets his best effort on the final play of the first half, and the numbers are up now through the first 24 minutes of play. The Portland Trailblazers with a superior effort. Extraordinary shooting. The Trailblazers, as underdog, go out in front 64-50. We'll be back with some halftime features in a moment.
I got Midas-sized in 19 minutes, 32 seconds. A new world's record.
I got Midas-sized in 27 minutes flat. So why'd I bother to get out of the car?
Midas can usually Midas-size your car in 30 minutes or less. And if anything ever goes wrong, we'll replace the muffler free for as long as you own your American or foreign car. In a hurry, come to Midas.
Time sure flies when you Midas-size.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Hey, where you been? Well, it wasn't easy getting tickets for this game. Hey, Bob. Teddy, I know exactly what I want. I want the biggest steak you got and a bottle of Lowenbrow. Steak and Lowenbrow. Dolan, you're a genius.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Here's to the chef. Here's to the bartender. This baby's been from Maine to Malibu, but I don't let her go nowhere without the treatment.
This is no car. This is a legend. And you better believe I give her the treatment.
STP oil treatment. Since 1964, over 500 million cans have been sold. No other brand even comes close. So do what millions do. Give your car the treatment from STP.
This sweetheart gets a treat, and this sweetheart gets the treatment.
When choosing between the phone and a business letter, remember, the letter is loaded with hidden costs.
I see you.
There's dictating time, typing time, filing costs, materials, even mailing costs.
Sorting, sealing, stamping,
and postage. To reduce those costs, don't reach for a stamp. Reach for the telephone. The phone's a better buy than the business letter.
Well, we have a surprising halftime score. The Kansas City Kings falling behind by 14 points to the Portland Trail Blazers. But Kansas City's tough here, John, aren't they?
They're good at home. They're not really that sharp here in the first half, but I expect them to come back.
Okay, we have some action from earlier games this week. I think you're going to enjoy that now as we'll pick up some of the activity from around the NBA coming up right now. Friday night action, Inglewood, California. Reggie Theus, the spectacular rookie backcourt player for Chicago, takes to the distance and slams the ball down. And here's Jamal Wilkes the other way for Los Angeles.
Almost, but not quite. John Mengelt coming up with it, and then look here.
Rash Mengelt goes into row A. And one of the people at courtside took the worst of that one, but the Chicago Bulls got the best of Los Angeles, winning in an upset. This is a Friday night game, Piscataway, New Jersey. The Seattle Supersonics, one of the better road teams in the NBA. As Jan Van Bredikoff of the New Jersey Nets fires the long jump shot, the ball caroming 6, 7, 8 feet over the rim. The perfectly timed offensive rebound jump by Bernard King. Right back up against 6'11" Jack Sikma of the Sonics. And Bernard King has 2 for the Nets. It was a big game for backcourt player Gus Williams of the Seattle Supersonics. Had 16 points in the first half. And now driving to the basket for the New Jersey Nets is John Williamson. Taking the ball inside, he can't get it to go, but Bernard King follows the ball back down and through. But with the spectacular play of Gus Williams, who ended the night with 34 points, the game went to the Sonics, 108-100. Those 2 fine guards for Seattle, Gus Williams and Dennis Johnson working together. Williams goes backdoor, finds an open lane, and Gus Williams gets 2 of his 34.
Gus Williams, a fine player, not only with the basketball, but there he shows how he can move without it.
Again, the Sonics come down the floor. Around they go, around the outside of the horn as they look again. It won't be long before Gus Williams will get the call again. Mr. Williams gets a bead, and 18 feet away, he's got it right down the well. On Friday night at Milwaukee, it was the Grand Slammer Marcus Johnson against the Doctor, Julius Erving.
It was quite a game indeed. The Doctor doing everything, outside and inside. But for the Bucks, Marcus Johnson, outstanding game, and Kent Benson playing very well for the Milwaukee Bucks.
And here is that Grand Slammer, Marcus Johnson, heading to the basket. A lot of support for Marcus Johnson as perhaps the best forward in the league when you consider all-around play.
Well, he's certainly one of them, and here you'll see him break away for what turns out to be a 3-point play.
Milwaukee Bucks, one of the toughest clubs in the NBA to beat at home. Kent Benson working hard for the defensive board, but Julius Erving comes up with the ball, jumps over the Milwaukee center and slams it down. And what a game Phil Ford of Kansas City had Friday night. The rookie from North Carolina goes baseline, lays in 2 of his game-high 29 points. But that wasn't all he did was score. He assisted on 15 other Kansas City scores as the Kings beat the best team in the NBA this season, and last, the Washington Bullets, for a 3rd straight time.
And there, Bobby Dandridge showing why he is an all-star player in the NBA.
One of your old teammates, Dandridge, pulls up from the outside. Hits the rifle jump shot, but the Kings with a lot of problems with injuries. Scott Wedman out there, all-star forward. Tom Burleson, their backup center, out, all with injuries. But Phil Ford, the 6'1" backcourt player from Carolina, takes it into the lane and fires in 2 more. This ended a 5-game losing streak for Kansas City, and during that streak they lost 3 games in overtime. Last night, Madison Square Garden in New York, a spectacular game. Earl Monroe, the Pearl, takes it to the basket for the New York Knicks as they build up a lead over the high-scoring San Antonio Spurs. George Gervin, the Iceman, looks on from the San Antonio bench. And he was much heard of later in the game. Here's Jim Clemens now, assisting out to Toby Knight. The second-year forward from Notre Dame. Pulls up, hits the jump shot. He had 22 for the Knicks last night. Now here's the Iceman, George Gervin, taking it down, looping it up. Can't get it there, but Paltz fighting with time almost out. At this point, San Antonio's down by 2 points. The game's almost over. Paltz gets it on the bank shot. He's fouled on the play. And Bill Paltz with a 3-point play wins the game for San Antonio, 111-110. Now looking at the playoff picture, here's how it looks in the Eastern Conference. That is pretty well set right now, with Washington still holding to the best record in the league. New Jersey having some recent troubles, although they won today over Philadelphia. And the Knicks and the Boston Celtics too far behind. So it looks like those are the 6 playoff teams in the Eastern Conference. It gets a little tighter, though, John, out west.
It certainly does. San Diego, Denver, and Portland may go right to the wire. 2 of those 3 teams will make the playoffs.
Portland, Denver, and San Diego all contending. That's how it stands at the half. We'll be talking to Joe Axelson of the Kansas City Kings shortly. The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station.
He lives in a dream world.
Monday, Billy's fantasies get bigger and better. Spend a wild and wacky half hour with Billy. You won't believe your eyes.
Billy.
Yeah. Monday.
This is CBS.
Basketball is everyone's game. Short folks, tall folks, girl folks, boy folks, young folks, all folks. Basketball is everyone's game. Basketball, it's your game. At the conclusion of today's game and each of our NBA telecasts during the season, we'll be selecting the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the Game. In conjunction with this award, Chevrolet will present a check for $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of the Players College or University. Any student may be eligible to benefit from these scholarship funds. Today's winner will be announced at the end of the telecast. John McLaughlin, you and I will be voting for the MVP. And should we disagree, our producer, Tom Crash O'Neill, will cast the deciding vote. Well, we're happy to be joined right now by a man who is probably not too pleased with the way this game is going, but he has to be very pleased with the way his team's season is going. This is Joe Axelson, the president and the general manager of the Kansas City Kings. Joe, this game aside, this has been a spectacular turnabout. Great for the NBA, what has occurred here at Kansas City this year.
This is true. We finally have proven, I think, that Kansas City belongs. We've got a good ball club. It's not a great one. It's a good one. It's young. I think it'll be here for a while, and this city has certainly accepted us.
Well, it's a lot of fun to watch, and I know that John wants to talk to you about another of your duties as head of the competition committee.
All right.
Joe, I think one of the things that a lot of people would be interested in, there's been a lot of discussion about it, and that's the 3 official system. How do you think it's working out?
I am a little disappointed in it, but looking back on it, I should not have been so hopeful the first year. We had to bring in 13, 14 people at one time, John, and that's tough. But I do think 3 officials are better than 2. And I do think we've picked up 5 or 6, maybe 7 officials who belong. If we accomplish nothing else this year, we've done that much.
One other thing, what about zone defenses? A lot of people feel they should be allowed in pro basketball. I know you have a stand on that.
I always say that someone who thinks we should have a zone in this league should go with me night after night and watch college games where they both play zones. If you don't have an interest, John, in one of the 2 teams, I challenge you to stay away.
Ladies and gentlemen, this Borgo
You know, Joe, one of the things that galls a lot of people in the NBA, and I live in New York, and it galls me, is the fact that when the Knicks have a bad team, which unfortunately they do this year, a lot of people equate that with the caliber of the overall NBA.
This is correct. I always say a lot of people never really gave us major league status until the Knicks won their first their world championship. People should not judge our league by that. Portland, for example, a year ago when Walton was hurt, 50-10, finest team I ever saw in this league. I followed it from the first year of the league. So it comes and goes, and that's why we should not vote, for example, to change something to suit one team or one situation. It comes and goes.
Well, Joe, continued success to the Kings. It's been a great year.
Thank you very much.
Joe Axelson, the president and general manager of the Kansas City Kings. The score here at halftime is Portland 64, Kansas City 50. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment.
Can the 19 3/4 cent Bic shaver shave as well as the Track 2? We went to the Cheeks of America to check it out.
No difference. I can't tell the difference. To me, there's absolutely no difference.
In our test, 58% found the Bic shave equal to or better than the Track 2 shave. Yet 4 Bic shavers are an incredible 79 cents. Why spend more when there's
No difference.
What about the price?
Big difference.
Get ready to save on a special Chevy Bonanza fleet side pickup. With this option package, Bonanza Big 10 fleet side pickups are priced up to $400 less than if you ordered everything separately. It includes air conditioning, automatic transmission, comfort tilt steering wheel, cruise control, power windows, and a whole lot more. Get all the Bonanza packs now at participating Chevy dealers. Haul away the savings on a tough Chevy Big 10 fleet side pickup. Chevy trucks built to stay tough.
I'm fixing up your house, Bozo, with tough paint this time. Right, Dad?
Lucite's plenty tough. It resists peeling and cracking.
How come?
For one thing, it's got mica.
Mica?
Mm-hmm. Mica's a mineral that reinforces the paint by forming overlapping plates to help make a tough seal. So it resists peeling and cracking.
He means Lucite lasts.
Now, with every gallon of Lucite, get a $1 check from DuPont, good for store merchandise.
John Drew drives for the basket, and he scores, and the Hawks pull ahead. Drew is responding tremendously under pressure.
The pressure in a game is like blood pressure. You got to know how to deal with it. So get it checked. It's easy and painless. And if you do have high blood pressure, stay on your medication, no matter how well you feel.
Looks good, John.
This message for the American Heart Association was presented as a public service by the National Basketball Association.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Basketball Association. The NBA on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. 7-Up, the crisp and clean, refreshing soft drink. And by AC Delco, quality automotive parts for quality motoring. AC Delco.
And that is the big number up on top. The Trailblazers with 67% from the field. 28 of 42 shots. You're not going to beat that.
Big difference on the year, too. Portland really not shooting that well on the year. They're only shooting 47% on the year, whereas Kansas City way off the mark, shooting 49% on the year and only 40 in this game. So that's a big difference. And, of course, rebounds also. Total rebounds, 26 for the Blazers, only 16 for the Kings. Therefore, the Kings can't get that running game going.
Leading scorers in the game as Portland has built up this 14-point halftime lead. Maurice Lucas with 19 points. He hit 8 of 12 from the field. Tom Owens, another big game at center, took 8 shots, made 6, scored 15 points. And also took down 7 rebounds. Michael Thompson had 12 points and 7 rebounds for the Blazers. For the Kansas City Kings, leading scorers, Bill Robinson and Sam Lacey, they scored 10 each. Phil Ford had 9. Sam Lacey had 8. Bob Nash had 8. But the Trailblazers with a big 14-point lead, so Kansas City's got to come out firing to get back in this game.
Kansas City's going to have to get more scoring from Ford and Birdsong. These are the people they must rely on. And it's rather interesting. Portland actually has more turnovers. They've been to the line fewer times, but they're way ahead because of that shooting percentage. But don't count Kansas City out.
Now they can come
They
back.
will be back. They can score a lot of points very quickly.
They can tear it up right here in Kemper. This is their home arena. And this is where they have really got it going this season to build up that big lead they now enjoy in the Midwest Division. Kansas City coming in with a 41-27 record. I think they had a eclipsed the number of home games they won last year early, midway through the first half of the season. They didn't do much last year. They didn't have the ball handling guard. They tried to give Lucius Allen that job, and he's not the great ball handler. Birdsong plays well without it. This year they got Ford, and the whole thing came together.
What's interesting, you normally would not depend on a guard to turn you around like that, but in this situation, I think it's happened.
Here's the final score today from McNichols Arena in Denver. The Washington Bullets with the best record in the NBA. A 119-108 victor. A 119-98 victor. The Boston Celtics defeated it today at Boston. The Los Angeles Lakers 108-106. An upset of sorts. The New Jersey Nets beat the slumping Philadelphia 76ers 104-103. Big win for Indiana as they score a 1-point victory over the Phoenix Suns. And Detroit's starting to come on, too late, but they're still winning some games down the stretch. Beat Milwaukee today.
Detroit scoring a lot of points. 125 today. They scored 160 against Boston the other night.
And here's what we have at halftime here. The Portland Trailblazers 64, the Kansas City Kings 50. This is Don Criqui with John McLaughlin at Kemper Arena, Kansas City. Our producer today, Tom O'Neill. Our director is Tony Verna. John McLaughlin, as you've assessed the league, who's the team to beat right now? Washington?
Oh, I think so. I think you would have to go with Washington. They can beat you so many ways. They're strong inside. They've got the quickness. They play the defense. I think if you had to pick a favorite, you would say Washington. But then if you're not a Washington fan, you might not.
Tell you one thing, if a big, tall redhead gets back into this red and black uniform,
that could change things quickly.
Lakers could be tough. There's no question about that.
They sure could. With Kareem on your team, and they have depth in other positions.
So we'll start the third period with Dave Twardzik getting down in the ball for the Trailblazers. He's played a fine game, had a lot of minutes in the first half, and had to play so tough on defense because he had Ford against him. When he goes out, McKinney comes in. Down low to Owens. Lacey against him. Lead pass goes to Twardzik. And a wise foul is given by the Kansas City Kings to stop Twardzik from getting the breakaway shot inside.
This is a very simple play. Portland uses Owens up high, and it's just a give and go. Twardzik goes down the middle because Ford was shading him that way, not allowing him to go around the screen.
The ball will come back inbounds now to Portland. Here's Ron Brewer working in the backcourt with Dave Twardzik, looping it down low to Owens, backing it on Lacey. Owens glides up, banks it so softly off the board, and Portland extends its lead to 16 points, 66-50. Birdsong. They'll make that net jump. You give him the open shot.
That 14-point quarter in the second quarter is a low for Kansas City this year.
Only 14 points in the second period for Kansas City. They led, you'll recall, 34-30 at the end of the first period. Michael Thompson. I'll tell you one thing, if Walton gets back to this team, Thompson and Lucas and Owens.
And Lionel Hollins. Don't forget him. He's
talking about the front line, though. That's a lot of people up there that can play.
And they have so much depth at every position then.
They got a good guy sitting on their bench, a rookie, Clement Johnson. Low second round choice. Michael Thompson pulls up, an anguished cry. It breaks the silence.
Foul on Bob Nash. He really has his hands full. You'll get to see it here. Michael Thompson, he's a fine player. He takes the ball, he goes inside, just jumps over Nash, and Nash commits the foul.
Michael Thompson, almost 2,000 career points at Minnesota, and he was a 56% shooter over his 4-year career there. Averaged 21 points a game. A native of Nassau in the Bahamas. He had played high school basketball in Miami. 3-year All-American in Minnesota.
How did he go from all that warm weather to all that cold weather for college?
It's called a good recruiter.
That's right.
10.5 to go, third period. 70-52 point as Phil Ford takes it to the basket. Down goes Twardzik, and the foul call is going to go on Ford.
Good call. Twardzik playing the good defense. Now watch. Ford trying to get penetration, but Twardzik right with him. He's quick also, has position. Ford jumps into him. Foul.
Here comes Twardzik. Lucas with the ball. Outside of Michael Thompson, Lucas goes down low. Robinson working with him, but Lucas spins off and banks it in. Owens picked off the defender, and Lucas got free.
Kansas City's going to have to tighten up their defense if they're going to get back into this game. They've also, Portland has done an excellent job on Phil Ford, not allowing the penetration. And if they don't get that running game and that penetration, they are not as an effective team as they can be.
If I were shopping around for life insurance myself, and if I knew what I know as a life insurance agent for State Farm, I'd buy it from State Farm. And I really mean that, because I know what we as agents feel our job is toward our clients, and I know how our company feels about it.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
To drive through dirt and dust, good filters are a must. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Trust those filters by AC.
We're glad I installed new AC air and oil filters before we get into this mess.
I bet AC helps protect those babies too, huh, Dad?
If they're smart.
George! Oh. So when you gotta go, we're the name to know. You can trust AC.
Thanks, AC.
Trust those filters by AC.
Thanks, AC.
Trust those filters by AC. Marathons, cross country, everybody's on the run. Not just so much to stay in shape, but cause it's lots of fun. And the light, refreshing taste today is what we're looking for. That's why 7-Up is turning up now more and more. Reaching up,
Warming up,
looking up,
rocking up.
America is turning 7-Up, moving up,
Jogging up,
feeling up,
being up.
America is turning 7-Up.
Next week, the NBA games of the week, San Antonio and Milwaukee. And the West Coast will see the New Jersey Nets and the San Diego Clippers. NBA basketball next Sunday here on CBS. Down low, Lacey heads to the basket. Rebound comes down to Michael Thompson. Up court to Ron Brewer. Twardzik on the right flat. Brewer takes a look at him, moves on Ford. And then sends it out to Michael Thompson, who took an extra step.
Michael Thompson knew he had committed himself a little too early. Nash had an opportunity to stand there and just wait on him, and you'll see it right here. As soon as he does it, he makes a face like, I know, coach, I know.
Hey, this kid Twardzik does as much with what he's got as any guy I've ever seen play the game at this level.
He really does.
Defensively, he has great anticipation. He takes away the drive before the guy makes his move. He just doesn't give you room to make the move.
And that's what Kansas City needs more of. Going to the basket, someone to get hot and draw a number of three-point plays. As you see Birdsong come in, make a tough shot, and he goes to the line.
Lucas gets his third personal foul, second team foul. 9:36 left to play, third period. Don Criqui with John McLaughlin, Kemper Arena, Kansas City. Lucas comes out of the ball, and Robinson hit him. So the Kings now get their third team foul. Lucas wants that ball. He's in there calling for it. Robinson body checking him. Owens takes a look, harassed by Lacey. Owens pulls up. And Twardzik pulls up, takes one. Lacey clears. Here's Phil Ford. He elects to take it right through, and again, Twardzik shuts him off from penetrating. You can't say enough about the defense Twardzik's playing.
That's absolutely right, Don. He's done a tremendous job of not allowing Ford to get by him to create situations for his teammates.
Absolutely cannot say enough about the defense that kid is playing. He's taken away Phil Ford's penetration in this game. That's been one of the keys. That's where Kansas City gets a lot of points. Lacey hooks. Owens rebounds. Lead pass to Brewer. Tap to Twardzik. And Twardzik takes one through himself. 74-55. 19-point lead for Portland.
when you take away that penetration, you take away the good shot opportunities by Kansas City. They really haven't had that good a shot in some time, and then when they get one like that, they're not putting it in.
Now Twardzik brings it down the floor. Got that yo-yo dribble inside and out, feeds off to Lucas. Line drive, jumper, rebound comes to Ford. Here comes Kansas City, running hard to get back into the basketball game. Phil Ford, bounce, lead pass. There's the play of the game right there.
Magnificent pass. I didn't think that was going to get through there. Actually, it was a slow, fast break. He wasn't going full speed. Certainly threaded the needle on that.
And now, a 17-point lead. Trailblazers lead cut to 17. Michael Thompson off target. There's a lead to Nash. Trailing on the play is Birdsong. Nash didn't get the ball away. Phil Ford pulls up. Rebound to Lacey. Back to Ford. And Phil Ford, that Carolina point.
Phil Ford put the ball up high. He saw the big guy coming at him. Actually, Kansas City lucky to end up with that 2 points. Nash should have given the ball off. He wasn't aware of who was down court with him. Kansas City picking it up.
When you need to rent a truck for company business or yourself, call Hertz and rent the exact truck you need at a price that can save you money. Hertz has been adding even more new trucks, and that means more reliable trucks, from Econoline vans up to giant tractors. You name it, Hertz rents it. And if you're moving, do it yourself with the easy-to-drive Hertz truck and save. So when you need a Ford or other reliable truck, make Hertz your #1 call. There's a location near you.
Broadway star Shelley Bruce for Color Track by RCA.
As Orphan Annie, my curls are auburn, my dress is bright red, and my dog is sandy brown. If these colors don't look right, see the 1979 Color Track. Getting the color right is what it's all about. And now with channel lock tuning, it tracks the color more automatically than ever.
Before you see the Color Track system grabs it, aligns it, defines it, sharpens it, tones it, and locks the color on track.
RCA is making television better and better.
By noon, you bring down enough timber to put up a small town. You got one tool, a chainsaw, and it's your bread and butter. On the bar, it says Homelight, but out here, it's the Chainsaw King. And right now, you can buy the King, the Homelight XL, at a king-size savings. Or pick one of 5 other Homelights and get this $15.99 woodcutter's kit free from Homelight, the Chainsaw King. Check the yellow pages under saws for your Homelight dealer.
He lives in a dream world. Monday, Billy's fantasies get bigger and better. Spend a wild and wacky half hour with Billy. You won't believe your eyes.
Billy.
Yes. Monday.
Here at Kansas City, the Kings have started to rally back into the game. They now trail by 15 points. And here's a steal. Birdsong steals the ball. Ford goes to Lucius Allen. He drives in. Missed it all, and the rebound is over to T.R. Dunn of the Trailblazers.
Now, Lucius Allen in the game at guard. That pushes Birdsong up to the forward position. He's playing against Bobby Gross.
Owens tries to get it inside, and Lacey takes the ball away as Kansas City's starting to play real hard now. Here comes Ford, driving to the basket. No foul. Gross rebounds for the Portland Trailblazers. Kansas City's going 3 guards right now. Trying to get the running game going and get back in this game.
I believe we have a technical plus a personal foul on Sam Lacey. Lacey trying to play Owens off the ball, committing the foul. Portland will draw a lot of fouls because of the constant movement they have off the ball. They're very difficult to stay with.
Ron Brewer steps to the free throw line, knocks down the technical foul. Brewer, an 81% free throw shooter through his first season in the NBA. Now Dunn will inbound the ball for Portland. Trailblazers lead the game 75-59. Brewer working in back T.R. Dunn. A couple of big guards in there now. Down low to Bob Gross. No foul as Gross loses the ball inside. Here comes Otis Birdsong. 10 men running. Lucius Allen heads to the basket. It takes the strong-hearted to get in there and rebound in this one. People are colliding inside as Ron Brewer pulls off, drills it off the run. 77-59. 18-point lead for Portland. Birdsong looking at Gross. He's picked off by Robinson. Birdsong can't get the shot to go. But Brewer throws the ball in, and as Birdsong hits to the basket, he's called for a foul.
Smart play by Brewer. He threw it to the wrong team, of course, but he came in to create the turnover. Kansas City needs someone to get hot. They're trying to press. They're trying to push it up the court. They're getting shots, but they're not going in.
Thompson has the ball tipped back to him by Robinson. Again, Owen sets that tough pick and loses Robinson for the driving Trailblazer, but now the rebound knocked away, and it comes over to Phil Ford of Kansas City. Track meet going now for the Kings. They got the running game going. A loose ball on side court, Michael Thompson. Brewer looks down court. Game starts to open up now, and nobody's able to hit anything.
Portland pushing the ball right back up the court, really in a situation when they shouldn't have a fast break on Kansas City. Kansas City attempting to get back, but they had too many small guys, and once again, Portland coming up with an offensive rebound, and they go to the line.
Atlanta behind in that game now rallies back to take a 10-point lead.
Atlanta's really something. They're an exciting basketball team, well coached.
I think they're going for their 9th win in a row in that one. They'll be in Portland on Tuesday night.
They show you so many different defenses, you don't know what's coming. They'll go full court, half court, traps all over the place. Exciting basketball.
Hubie Brown, their coach, he's got to be a candidate along with people like Cotton Fitzsimmons to be coach of the year. Brown's very demanding now. You had him in Milwaukee.
Yes, he was assistant coach in Milwaukee. He is a very demanding coach, but he gets what he wants out of his players, and it's paying off.
Billy McKinney pulls up. Rebound tapped around, and Big Sam Lacey can't hold on. Ball turns over to the Blazers.
Nothing going right for Kansas City. They bring in Billy McKinney for Lucius Allen. He scored a lot of points at Northwestern, and he can score. They need someone that can put it in.
Ron Brewer fires over to T.R. Dunn. Gross takes a look. Ball tapped around. Bob Gross with good hands picks it up. Feeds off to Michael Thompson. The team plays together, and they have extended their lead now to 81-59. The 22-point lead for the Blazers. Blocked by T.R. Dunn. He gets the loose ball. Feeds to Gross. Searches out the open man down court. Guns the ball to Ron Brewer. They're getting an effort in there.
It's a beautiful defensive effort by Dunn at the other end to block that shot by McKinney. And then, of course, coming back the other way, we have another foul in Kansas City, and they've been over the limit for some time. That's keeping Portland on the line, and the Blazers with only 2 team fouls.
And Kansas City with a 15th foul the third period now. 4:50 left to go.
It's the 5th personal on Lacey. He's rather upset.
Sam Lacey goes out. Richard Washington is in the game now for Kansas City.
Kansas City just cannot afford to lose Lacey. And, of course, that's what Cotton Fitzsimmons talked about, the value of Burleson. He could come in the game. He had a lot of size that allowed them to do other things with other people. Now, their bench has been strong all year. Now it's weak.
83-59. Portland with the big lead here in Kansas City. Richard Washington pulls up. He gets it down. T.R. Dunn, a superb 6'5" backcourt athlete out of Alabama, brings the ball up. A big height advantage. He's going down low against Phil Ford, but doesn't need the ball as Thompson sweeps in, gets the assist and lays it in.
Portland runs that play better than any team I've ever seen. They'll come to the top, they'll go back door, they throw the lob to
Thompson now has 20. Lucas has 21. Coming back now to score is Richard Washington with 4 minutes left to go in the third period. Richard Washington feeds out. Here comes Phil Ford, lead to Birdsong. And Birdsong, normally a superb shooter inside, can't get it down.
Here we have a foul in Kansas City going the other way. And you'll see the replay of it here. You'll see Birdsong advancing the ball up the court. He has a nice shot. He doesn't miss that often, but I think he's tired. He's playing really hard. He's going both ways. He seems to be dragging just a little. And as you know, Don, when you get tired, the first thing that goes is your jump shot.
That's right. First thing that goes is right to the bench. That's where you go.
To the end.
Bob Gross at the free throw line. 3:45 play, third period. Kansas City, try as they will to get the ball down court quickly, continues to meet a Portland defense that's back and set up. They're really getting back in a hurry to defend. Cordoning off that lane. They're not letting Kansas City get the penetration.
Plus Portland not allowing any second shots. No offensive rebounds for Kansas City.
Here's big Clement Johnson in the game. Over to Michael Thompson. PR done at that height advantage. Throws up that air ball. Rebound banged around. I'll tell you one thing, Clement Johnson's a big guy.
He certainly is. You see the foul.
And Clement Johnson goes to the free throw line. He's 6'10", 240 pounds. Drafted late in the second round by Portland out of Florida A&M. Otis Birdsong heads to the bench for a rest for Kansas City.
As you can see, the big guy obviously not a very good free throw shooter. Matching his field goal percentage, 47.
Just put the excitement back in the free throw. Gets those.
How about that?
Gets them both. And tell you one thing, the Portland Trailblazers in their fondest wishes did not expect this. 89-63.
I didn't either, to be totally honest.
Gus Gerard was the last to handle the ball, so it comes back inbounds to Portland. Right now, Kansas City wants a timeout.
Portland really handling the rebounding department very nicely, and we have a timeout on the floor. Portland 89, Kansas City 63.
The Miller people promised me a case of light beer if I could keep this ball spinning for the length of this commercial. Now, I'm not one to show off, but I do just about anything for a few light beers. You see, light's got a third less calories than the regular beer and it's less filling, so I can stay loose. But the thing I like best is the taste. And I believe at this time that somebody here owes me a case of that taste. Thanks a lot, boys. See you around.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Hey, Charlie.
Who do you share the power with? The power of Vitalis Super Hold, the pump.
With Tom every morning.
I share it with Jill.
We share the power of the pump. Vitalis Super Hold. The pump keeps our hair looking terrific. Why should women settle for less power when they can get the holding power of the pump? It can hold longer than the leading men's aerosol. Come on. It's better when you share.
Get the pump, Vitalis Super Hold, and share the power.
We're gonna show Grandma our new Chevy Malibu.
A freshly sliced apple pie called Chevy Malibu.
The 1979 Chevy Malibu has the right room, right headroom, leg room, and trunk room. The right size, new family midsize.
Looks like Bill bought himself a new Malibu.
The right ingredients, like an impressive mileage rating and a beautiful body by Fisher. It's got the right name, Chevrolet. No wonder it's a family favorite.
A freshly sliced apple pie called Chevy Malibu.
'69-63. The Portland Trailblazers came into this game having lost 26 of the 33 road games they've played so far. 7-26 on the road. And here they are blowing out Kansas City. And the Kings at home, conversely, had won 28 and lost just 7. There's a guy who didn't like all this. Cotton Fitzsimmons. Cotton lets out some terrible cries over there.
Kansas City attempting to pick up the pressure defensively, and they must do that. They're going to have to go inline to inline and create some turnovers just like that one.
You're going to see Cotton Fitzsimmons. He's kind of like a time bomb there. You can tell by that expression he's not too pleased with all this. He will be heard from. Right now, the Trailblazers on defense as Richard Washington goes down low. Big Clement Johnson gets his body in the way of Richard Washington, takes down the defensive board. Bob Gross takes a look inside. Gerard Hawkins, they want the ball back. Kansas City working hard to get it. Gross to the basket. Johnson with the offensive rebound. And big Clement Johnson now with his points gives the Portland Trail Blazers a 91-63 lead. Phil Ford to the basket, and here's a whistle that stops play.
Billy McKinney coming inside there. That time he penetrates just like Phil Ford penetrates as well. And of course he knows they have to go to the basket. They have to get some points very quickly. And here you'll see the clear out for him. And the little guy challenges the big guys in the land of the Giants.
Billy McKinney, he's quite a success story. Came out of a nighttime league in Chicago, was playing in 4 separate leagues, went to Northwestern, was cut when he tried out for the NBA, wrote to teams, tried to get a tryout. Kansas City gave one. And his statistics over the season are almost as impressive as Phil Ford's. He hasn't played as much. But when he's come in, he's done a big job. Now they're both in. They want the full speed unit in. Gus Gerard firing from the corner, knocks it down. There was 1:48 left to go in the third period. It's 91-67. Portland hurrying down the floor, and then Ron Brewer sets the play as the Trailblazers, they're not letting up. Clement Johnson and Robinson both go to the floor.
Well, that has to be a foul on someone.
Scored the goal, and
they scored it. No call. There was definitely contact there, Don.
Here's Richard Washington throwing it down. As you see the third quarter start to wind down, I'll tell you, 2 guys, Robinson had a tree fall on him.
That was a tree on a tree.
No harm, no foul, as the saying goes. A little harm there, says Robinson. He was 5 minutes late getting down the floor again. Gross heads in, feeds off to Brewer. Richard Washington lost the ball, but it was last touched by Bob Gross of the Blazers, so it comes inbound to Kansas City.
The Blazers still not in the team foul situation. They only have 3.
Phil Ford drives to the basket, and we have a charging foul called. Ball goes back the other way.
Here you see Billy McKinney trying to create something here. He gets caught up in the air, has to dish the ball off, and they say he charged.
Ron Brewer guns the ball to T.R. Dunn with a chest pass. Clement Johnson down low. Robinson wants it more, and he comes thundering through to get it. Here comes McKinney on the run. T.R. Dunn defends against him, hacks him. And with 30 seconds left to play in the third period, we have a foul call on T.R. Dunn of the Blazers.
Billy McKinney, here he comes. He may be quicker than Phil Ford, and that's saying a whole lot. He goes to his left, which is what he prefers because he's left-handed, gets inside, and draws the foul.
14 fouls on the Blazers. 30 seconds to go in the third period. Lee Hagan comes in. Cotton Fitzsimmons now trying different lineup combinations, trying to get something generated. He's worked with as many as 3 guards to try to get a running game going. But three guards don't get you rebounds.
That's right. They're going to have to put it in the basket. If they're not doing that, you're going to have to get them out of there.
And with Portland shooting well over 50% for the game, most of the time when the Kings have gotten the ball, it's been inbounds, thrown it in from underneath their own basket.
You know, Portland does something else very well, Don, and it's effective against a team like Kansas City. They get back on defense. They convert very well.
Yeah, they make that transition offense to defense. They've shut off the Kansas City running game, which is so effective, led by Phil Ford. Gross has his shot blocked and gets the ball back. Shot clock runs out. Kansas City gets the ball.
Should not have happened, Don. The ball hit the bottom of the rim. Shot clock should have started over.
No foul on that play.
It happened away from the shot clock.
24 seconds. It hit the damn ring and aboard both. 6 seconds on the clock.
You can hear Don Murphy explaining it.
6 seconds on the game clock. The shot hit the ring and the board. Again, reset the clock. You've got to reset.
He said the ball did hit, and it did. We can see it very plainly. He wants it reset. I believe he said 6 seconds. And we'll get an opportunity to see it here. Bobby Gross puts up a shot. No, that isn't it. That was prior to that. Actually, Gross had the ball under the basket. Came up with it, put it back up short, hit the bottom of the rim.
But that's nothing to do with stopping the play. The play stops on the official's whistle. No, you don't play that. You play the official's whistle.
Here we'll get to see it. Now watch Gross reverse. Now watch. There it hits the rim.
Yeah.
Bobby gets it back. Then he takes it outside and shoots the jump shot we saw previously.
He got an offensive rebound. It hit the ring.
That's right.
Doesn't matter where it hits the ring.
I don't want anything on that clock. There's 6 on the game.
You can't get 2 points out of it. You might as well get a rebound, huh?
We got 10 guys out there. Let's get something together here. 93-71. Portland leads the game. 22-point advantage. So you got 6 seconds on the game clock, and the Trailblazers are going to bring the ball in. 6 seconds remaining in the third period. They've let the shot clock elapse because there's no difference, as there's 6 seconds remaining in the period only. The umpire would say play ball. Down low, Thompson called for a charge.
Nice
4
play.
seconds left.
Nice play by Ron Behagen. He was right there to take the charge. We may never get this third period over. Now they're calling out the boys to wipe the floor up.
McKinney brings the ball inbounds to Phil Ford. Fires at the buzzer. Just a little soft off the front of the rim. So the third period comes to an end, and Portland continues to dominate the game. After trailing at the end of the first period, the Trailblazers now lead by 22.
Welcome to our people-pleasing places.
Mr. Carlin, your briefcase.
Meet our people-pleasing faces.
Holiday Inn hotels are #1 in the world with the best standards.
Everything all right, sir? Everything's just fine.
People-pleasing standards to help make your trip successful.
Wherever you go in this whole big traveling world,
We want to make you comfortable.
Holiday Inn is #1 in people-pleasing.
The NBA on CBS will continue after this word from your local station.
Monday, the AFI presents its Life Achievement Award to Alfred Hitchcock. Don't miss this loving tribute to the master of suspense. Monday at 9:30, 8:30 Central Mountain.
This is CBS. This is Don Criqui with John McLaughlin back at Kemper Arena, Kansas City. We remind you to be sure and stay tuned for the MVP award at the conclusion of the game. As the whistle blows inside, through the first 3 periods of this game, the Portland Trailblazers have hit 56% as a team, hit 67%, you recall, through the first 2 periods. Kansas City is only 36.6%. So that has been the difference. The shooting, superior shooting, and that comes from excellent floor play. Hitting the open man, working plays, getting shots inside, crashing the board, getting offensive rebounds and subsequent shots.
I think we must credit the Portland defense for this also. They're really not giving up that many good shots. And of course, Kansas City not able to really get it going, and they're shooting almost 50% on the year.
Otis Birdsong hits the free throw. 11:50 to go in the game. And now Kansas City pressing backcourt. Georgia can handle all that, though. He just dances with the ball, brings it over the 10-second line. McKinney working very hard as the shot clock is down to 12 before Portland is ready to go into position to work a play. Gross on the outside, and here's a whistle inside. Behagen is called for a foul. John?
Behagen trying to block Lucas off the ball as Lucas was going down to set up. And this is one of the problems Kansas City's had. They're getting in foul trouble early. Their defense hasn't been that sharp, except right there.
Birdsong with a breakaway. Backcourt player out of Houston sweeps in for a slam dunk. Here it is again as Otis Birdsong puts it down. Birdsong has now scored 16 points for Kansas City. Thompson has 20. Michael Thompson. Maurice Lucas has 21. Hook shot. Rebound Behagen. Outlet pass McKinney. Beating up. Wrong guy. Larry Steele was standing there. Thank you so very much. And here's an up-court pass to Dave Twardzik. Boys, Twardzik can play. Dave Twardzik almost invites the challenge of the defender. Here comes Richard Washington down the floor. At 6'11", he can handle the ball.
Otis Birdsong, that's all Kansas City needs. Someone like him to get hot. He can score a lot of points quickly.
They're back to within 17, 93-76. Feed off to Bob Gross. He doesn't get it to go, and McKinney taps the rebound over to Washington. Here comes McKinney on the fly at 6 feet. Behind the back, off to Gus Gerard. And the rebound caroms over to Tom Owen. So the big play by McKinney, all for naught. And Dave Twardzik says, let's take a breath here and settle this thing down. And
Billy McKinney's for that. He's tired. He just indicated to the bench, get me out of here.
Bill Ford's up off the bench. Twardzik with the shot clock down to 3. I don't know if he knows it. Now he fires. Just before it goes off, Birdsong saves the ball. To Richard Washington, tapped away by Steele.
Billy McKinney not sharp there. He didn't know what happened. The shot clock went off, and you see Portland come back. Larry Steele making a jumper. Actually, the clock went off, but still the shot had already hit the rim.
Larry Steele from Kentucky. Don't hear much about him. He plays a real solid basketball game. McKinney fires. He goes. 6 points for Billy McKinney. Birdsong has 18 points. He's the high man in the game for Kansas City. Birdsong rather with 11. 18, Otis Birdsong. Phil Ford has 11. Only 10 for Lacey's not scored in the second half. 12 for Robenzine. 8 for Nash.
Nice move by Maurice Lucas. Making the jumper, going inside. Kansas City trying to draw the foul, but the official doesn't go for it.
And Lucas now has 23. Otis Birdsong comes back the other way off the baseline of the floor. Otis Birdsong now is hit for 20. Again, a 17-point lead for the Trailblazers. Twardzik has done so much for Portland as he does game after game. Controlling the ball, playing defense, shutting off the break. Gross inside, feeds back to Twardzik, rejected by Behagen. Down the floor comes Birdsong. Lead to Behagen, he gets it done. They got something going now as Kansas City's back to within 15. Jack Ramsey and the Trailblazers want a timeout to talk it over.
And these fans love them. They're up, no one's left. They know what Kansas City can do here. Here you'll see Twardzik getting his shot blocked by Behagen. Now Birdsong, he'll push it up the court, and he makes the play here. He keeps the ball, he'll draw the defense, he'll make the play to Behagen, he puts the shot in, and that's what Kansas City needs.
This is Don Cricket with John McLaughlin back at Kemper Arena, Kansas City. We remind you to be sure and stay tuned for the MVP award at the conclusion of the game. As the whistle blows inside, through the first 3 periods of this game, the Portland Trailblazers have hit 56% as a team, hit 67%, you recall, through the first 2 periods. Kansas City is only 36.6%. So that has been the difference The shooting, superior shooting, and that comes from excellent floor play. Hitting the open man, working plays, getting shots inside, crashing the board, getting offensive rebounds and subsequent shots.
I think we must credit the Portland defense for this also. They're really not giving up that many good shots. And of course, Kansas City not able to really get it going, and they're shooting almost 50% on the year.
Otis Birdsong hits the free throw. 11:50 to go in the game. And now Kansas City pressing backcourt. Georgia can handle all that, though. He just dances with the ball, brings it over the 10-second line. McKinney working very hard as the shot clock is down to 12 before Portland is ready to go into position to work a play. Gross on the outside. And here's a whistle inside. Behagen is called for a foul.
Behagen trying to block Lucas off the ball as Lucas was going down to set up. And this is one of the problems Kansas City's had. They're getting in foul trouble early. Their defense hasn't been that sharp, except right there.
Birdsong with a breakaway. The backcourt player out of Houston sweeps in for a slam dunk. Here it is again as Otis Birdsong puts it down. Birdsong has now scored 16 points for Kansas City. Thompson has 20, Michael Thompson. Maurice Lucas has 21. Hook shot, rebound Behagen, outlet pass McKinney. Feeding up, wrong guy. Larry Steele was standing there. Thank you so very much. And here's an upcourt pass to Dave Twardzik. Boys, Twardzik can play. Dave Twardzik almost invites the challenge of the defender. Here comes Richard Washington down the floor. At 6'11", he can handle the ball.
Otis Birdsong, that's all Kansas City needs. Someone like him to get hot. He can score a lot of points quickly.
They're back to within 17, 93-76. Feed up to Bob Gross. He doesn't get it to go, and McKinney taps the rebound over to Washington. Here comes McKinney on the fly at 6 feet. Behind the back, up to Gus Gerard. And the rebound caroms over to Tom Owen. So the big play by McKinney, all for naught. And Dave Twardzik says, let's take a breath here and settle this thing down. And
Billy McKinney's for that. He's tired. He just indicated to the bench, get me out of here.
Bill Ford's up off the bench. Twardzik with the shot clock down to 3. I don't know if he knows it. Now he fires. Just before it goes off, Birdsong saves the ball. To Richard Washington, tapped away by Steele.
Billy McKinney not sharp there. He didn't know what happened. The shot clock went off, and you see Portland come back. Larry Steele making a jumper. Actually, the clock went off, but still the shot had already hit the rim.
Larry Steele from Kentucky. Don't hear much about him. He plays a real solid basketball game. McKinney fires. He goes. 6 points for Billy McKinney. Birdsong has 18 points. He's the high man in the game for Kansas City. Birdsong rather with 11. 18, Otis Birdsong. Phil Ford has 11. Only 10 for Lacey. He's not scored in the second half. 12 for Robenzien. 8 for Nash.
Nice move by Maurice Lucas. Taking the jumper, going inside. Kansas City trying to draw the foul, but the official doesn't go for it.
And Lucas now has 23. Otis Birdsong comes back the other way off the baseline of the floor. Otis Birdsong now is hit for 20. Again, a 17-point lead for the Trailblazers. Twardzik has done so much for Portland as he does game after game. Controlling the ball, playing defense, shutting off the break. Gross inside, feeds back to Twardzik, rejected by Behagen. Down the floor comes Birdsong. Lead to Behagen, he gets it done. We got something going now as Kansas City's back to within 15. Jack Ramsey and the Trailblazers want a timeout to talk it over.
And these fans love them. They're up, no one's left. They know what Kansas City can do here. Here you'll see Twardzik getting his shot blocked by Behagen. Now Birdsong, he'll push it up the court, and he makes the play here. He keeps the ball, he'll draw the defense, he'll make the play to Behagen, he puts the shot in, and that's what Kansas City needs.
When you shoot a lot of pool and bars, you want to stay fast and loose. You don't want to get filled up. That's why I drink light beer from Miller. Got a third less calories than their regular beer, and it's less filling. Plus, the taste is great. And even though a lot of people don't think pool is strenuous, let me tell you something. You can work up a real good thirst, even when you're just showing off.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
A family is about to lose its home forever. Not the home on the left. Allstate Homeowners Insurance can pay to rebuild that house. The real disaster is on the right. The owner died before the mortgage was paid. Allstate Life has mortgage protection insurance to help give your family a debt-free home if you die. You need mortgage protection insurance, too. So your family won't lose its home, see your Allstate agent for both kinds of insurance. Make sure your home lives on. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Introducing Hertz Takeoff Rates. Save up to 50% on the average weekday rental when you take off Thursday through Sunday for a minimum of 2 to 3 days. Take off in a subcompact for only $13.95 a day. Paramont's $15.95. Granada $17.95. Thunderbirds $21.95 a day. All with no charge for mileage. There are some restrictions, so check with Hertz. Take off next weekend with Hertz low takeoff rates.
Games of the week next Sunday on CBS. San Antonio at Milwaukee, the West Coast game, the New Jersey Nets at San Diego. Right now, the Trailblazers have the ball. 8 minutes to go in the game. Kansas City pressing, hawking the ball as the Trailblazers hold to a 15-point lead. They were up by 22 at the end of 3 periods. Steele heads to the basket, shoots on Birdsong, and Larry Steele hitting his last 2 shots.
Kansas City really attempting to tighten up the defense, and they're doing a good job of it. But the problem is, many times you'll start committing a lot of unnecessary fouls when you're pressuring.
Down low to Nash, but the defense by Bob Gross forces Nash into an errant shot. Back over the top is Owens of Robinzine. So we have the first team foul of the 4th period against the Blazers. Owens now has 3 fouls. E.R. Dunn has 5. He's on the Blazer bench. Lacey has 5 for Kansas City. Gross heads up the floor.
That's the type of turnover Kansas City does not need. They need to get shot attempts.
Owens dances inside, breaking off a pick. He comes angling across the lane to lay the ball in. Owens has 19. Bill Ford goes down hard. Offensive call goes, and the ball heads back the other way.
Here you'll see it. Phil Ford having a tough day, but let's credit that Portland defense. They come up on him, and that looked like it may have gone the other way, but they said he threw his arm out. I really didn't see it. Portland's so smart, Don. They use the clock now. They've started setting up. They're running the clock down to about 5-7 seconds, as much as they can before they shoot.
Ron Brewer comes up with the ball, and so the shot clock starts over. Gross takes his time. Jack Ramsey up, counting, calling signals. He wants to work a play, wants to run the game clock down. Owens heads to the basket, fights for the rebound. Lucas hustles for the ball. Robinson comes up with it. Lucas for a foul call. Here comes Ford. He puts his head down like a little fullback and heads to that hoop.
Well, he knows he has to go to the basket. He knows he has to get layups and draw the foul. And look at him go inside here, and he gets crunched pretty nicely.
Now Phil Ford at the free throw line for the Kansas City Kings. He scored 11 points, but has 10 assists in this game. High score for Kansas City, Birdsong with 20.
Actually, he's had his problems in the first 2 meetings with Portland, although they were earlier in the year, and he really started playing much better as the season went along, of course, gaining experience.
6:13 to go. The Trailblazers were down by 4 at the end of the first period. They rallied back on 67% first half shooting to take the lead at the halftime by 14. Jack Ramsey, the doctor, looks on as his Trailblazers work their team game. Spinning and moving, the ball goes down for Michael Thompson, and he draws a foul on the play.
Beautiful execution. Portland just doing their job so well. They're coming up, they're running their continuity offense. Everyone's involved in it. They see the open man, they pass the ball, and that just makes it that much more difficult for Kansas City to make them turn it over to play that tough defense.
Jack Ramsey has written a couple of books on basketball. He said, good play seems almost effortless. 5 separate wills blended into a single whole, playing with one purpose to win. But by playing its own game, a game in which it believes, and he says that behind the seeming ease with which a great team plays lie hours of preparation. And this Portland team working its team game to perfection. They've had a good road trip. They hold on here. They'll win 3 of 4 as they are fighting for a playoff spot in the West. They beat the Knicks at New York. Next night went to New Orleans. Beat the Jazz down there. Lost in Indiana Friday night despite the big effort by Tom Owens. And then came in here to Kansas City today, an underdog as Phil Ford takes it through. Beats him with a change of pace move.
That's what Phil Ford normally does. He's had a hard time doing it today. Now he's going to have to do it a lot.
Again, a 17-point lead for Portland as the Kings are forced now to attack the ball. Blocked by Gus Gerard. 12 seconds on the shot clock as the Blazers inbound the ball. Reject by Lacey. Here comes Ford. 4-on-1 overmatch. Only Larry Steele is back. Richard Washington shoots on hit. 15-point lead.
Now Ford did a smart thing then. He could have given the ball up a lot earlier, but he knew he had a big man on the wing. He should keep it a little bit longer to make the play closer to the basket.
4 team fouls on the Blazers in the period. Only 2 on Portland. Larry Steele will inbound the ball now for Portland with 12 seconds on the shot clock. 5:15 to play on the game clock. 103-88. Portland with a 15-point lead. Larry Steele, heady basketball, sees that he could not get the ball in within the allotted time, would have turned it over, so he calls a timeout.
Kansas City's up playing the passing lanes as much as they can. That opens them up to the backdoor play, and Portland knows it.
Sorry, kid. Got to take you out of cleanup.
Over 6 million shavers have said goodbye to their old razors and said hello to Atra, Gillette's best shave. Micro-smooth twin blades and Atra face-hugging action combine to outshave every razor we've ever made.
Close. Very close.
Atra, Gillette's best shave.
Atra, you're in a league by yourself.
Right Guard knows that in equally active situations, men and women don't perspire equally. Men perspire more. That's why men count on Right Guard. Right Guard is so strong, so effective, it helps stop a man's wetness and odor all day long. Yes, men and women don't perspire equally. Men do perspire more. And that's why men count on Right Guard. Right Guard, because men and women aren't always equal.
Think of yourself in a special way in the new Monte Carlo from Chevrolet. Think of yourself behind the wheel, enjoying that special Monte Carlo feel, standing tall, feeling proud. Put a little distance between yourself and the crowd.
Next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, it's Challenge of the Sexes on CBS. Gymnastics competition. Bart Connors, one of the U.S. brightest hopes for the upcoming Olympic Games, against Linda Tardif. She's a 16-year-old who won a bronze medal at the national championship. Show jumping, equestrian competition, and freestyle skiing. Maurice Lucas comes up with the ball, and the shot clock starts over. Jack Ramsey gets up, waves that finger in a circle. The motion offense to start up. Run the clock. Lucas with the ball. Motion from all 5 people except for Owens, who's posting low, looking to pick off. As somebody comes on by, leaving his man crashing into Owens. He set that big pick. Nice block by Gerard. Tips the ball out of bounds, and the Blazers will have only 3 seconds now, John, to get a shot away.
Well, actually, what happens there, Don, it's reset to 5, and you hate to play the good defense at that point, because by knocking it out of bounds, you actually give Portland 2 more seconds than they really had.
Ball comes inbounds to Kansas City.
Lucas was going out of bounds. He had to flip it back in, and Kansas City gets the break.
Phil Ford working hard. As Gus Gerard goes up in the air, he was rejected by Thompson, and Lucas comes up with the ball. He says, come here, guard, give me a guard to bring this up.
Now, Don, there was an example with Scott Wedman in the game. He would have taken that shot right away and probably put it in. They're just not quite as effective with the penetration by Ford.
Scott Wedman will be back in a couple of weeks. Perhaps you didn't hear, he was in an auto accident last Sunday. His car left the road, shaved off a tree at 12 feet, shaved off a telephone pole at 8 feet. Car ended up 173 feet from where it left the road, and he came out of it with a dislocated shoulder.
Fortunately for him, I guess, he left the car before it did all that damage.
He went through the roof, the canvas roof of a convertible.
Right. That's the third team foul on the Kings. The Blazers with 4.
Behagen comes back into the game. Ron Behagen comes in. Phil Ford, Richard Washington, Otis Birdsong, Sam Lacey in the game. The Blazers cat and mouse game now. They're frustrating the Kings, working the game clock down, taking their time, working plays. Lucas down low. He had the big first half. Banks the shot. Rebound tapped around by Behagen, and Thompson comes up with the ball. Shot clock starts over. And Larry Steele sets it up.
Portland must have a bundle of offensive rebounds in this second half.
Here's a foul on Behagen.
If you get an opportunity, watch Sam Lacey here. He and Tom Owens have been going at it all night. Very physical, a lot of pushing, banging, arm throwing. And now he's complaining about it. That might be pretty even. They're both giving it out pretty good. Actually, it's amazing the officials haven't called more fouls on them tonight.
Sam Lacey going to sit down after less than happy opportunity, happy afternoon. A 6th personal foul sends him to the sidelines along with teammate Robenzien, who went out earlier in the same. Ron Brewer takes a look down low. Nothing happening there. Lucas comes out high, gets the ball. Kings furiously going after the ball, trying to get it back. Tapped up and in by Michael Thompson.
We said prior to the game that he's a fine offensive rebounder, and you've been able to see that this evening. He's had a number of them.
Phil Ford fires it out to Birdsong. Rebound tapped around. Steele has the ball. Lead to Brewer. And Ron Brewer sets it down with authority. Two-hand slam. 107-88. 3 minutes to play in the game. 3 minutes. Ford heads to the basket and gets it down. And Phil Ford is fouled on the play. Ford now 17 points and 11 assists, John.
Oh, the little guy's pushing it up the court. He's still trying. Even with that amount of effort, Portland has done a super job on him today. He's had to earn everything he's received.
Borzik, who was in earlier, did such a great job defensively against the backcourt players for Kansas City. Yadin Fitzsimmons still atop the NBA's Midwest Division. Will be up by 4.5 games over Denver after this game. Denver was beaten today badly by Washington and Denver. Michael Thompson looping it low to Owens. Tapped around, lots of guys going after the ball. It's going to come inbounds to Kansas City.
Loose ball foul on Tom Owens going after the ball. He's still playing very hard. He's a little upset with himself. As you look at Billy McKinney coming back in the game, Phil Ford going out.
Scoring for the Portland Trailblazers. Maurice Lucas has 23 points, had 19 in the first half. Michael Thompson has 24. Tom Owens has 19. Brewer has 7. Twardzik had 8 while he was in. He could be back. Gross has 10 so far. T.R. Dunn has 6. Steele has 4. Johnson came in, scored 6 points. Big Clement Johnson. For Kansas City, Nash has 8. Robenzien 10 before he fouled out. Lacey 10 before he fouled out. Did not score in the second half. Birdsong is high with 20. Phil Ford with 17 and 11 assists. Washington with 8. But the ball game after the first period has been Portland. Trailblazers trailed 34-30 at the end of the first 12 minutes. We're up by 14 at the half. By 22 at the end of 3 periods.
Portland's big guys have certainly done a fine job today, controlling the board, scoring, They're very physical. They go to the offensive board, the defensive board. They play the good defense. Must be some matchup when Portland and Washington play. Washington has a very big team also, to say the least.
.224 left to play. Owens at the free throw line. South Carolina Gamecock knocks it down. 109-93. So the Trailblazers will be heading back to Portland with a head of steam. 3 victories in 4 games on the road. And a big week coming up. Girard shot, rims the hoop. Girard takes it back in. Called for a charge. Everybody's so anxious to dunk the ball. They look at the basket and not at who's in front of them.
Here you see Girard getting the ball back, and he goes to the basket. And that's what you have to do. Try to draw those three-point plays, but Tom Owens was standing there waiting on him, and they call a charge.
So now T.R. Dunn at his leisure brings the ball over the midcourt line. Gross against Gus Girard. Lucas looking at Behagen. Behagen giving him some body checking. You see the game clock winding down. That is the time remaining in the game. Here's a whistle from Don Murphy underneath. Final score, the Chicago Bulls, who beat the Lakers Friday night at Los Angeles, go up to San Francisco to Oakland and beat Golden State. And that's the number here at Kansas City. 109-93 with 1:46 left to play in the game. Maurice Lucas at the free throw line. He has 24 and 25.
It's been a physical game. Maurice Lucas that time drawing the foul. He and Behagen pushing quite a bit.
Bob Gross with a great defensive play, slaps the ball away, then out hustles Girard to the basketball. T.R. Dunn to the basket, rejected by Washington. Rebound to Thompson.
Nice play by Bobby Gross defensively. You mentioned it, Don, and I think it's important to talk about him. He had an injury that took some time to come back from, but he's a smart basketball player, and he's the type of player that I'm sure any coach would like, and most teams. He moves without the ball. He plays the good team defense. He can also play individual defense, and he can score.
.126 left in the game as the big rookie from Minnesota, Michael Thompson, pops down the free throw. 25 points, shooting for 26. He also has 14 rebounds in the game. T.R. Dunn holds the ball, gives it over to Ron Brewer. And at this point, Kansas City might be conceding the basketball game. They fought hard, even though they were way down in the second half. Going after that ball is kamikaze style. Ira Terrell in the game. Here comes Lucius Allen. 4 men on the run down the floor. Ron Behagen takes it through. Gus Girard tips it up. Richard Washington puts it back up for Kansas City. As we are now inside a minute to play. I'd like to thank our producer, Tom O'Neill, our director, Tony Verna, Mike Sanders, our statistician today here at Kansas City, John McDonough Jr., our associate director. 44 seconds left to go. 114-95.
Well, the fans in Kansas City, as you see Billy McKinney coming back with the jump shot, they haven't seen too many bad games by the Kings. Today, the Kings just gave up too much too early.
And there is the most valuable player in the game. The $1,000 scholarship going to the General Scholarship Fund of the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis on behalf of the good efforts of Michael Thompson here today. The Portland rookie, there was a lot of great players on the floor for Portland. As Gus Girard takes it inside with 17 seconds to play.
I think Dave Twardzik has to receive a lot of credit, especially early in the game, playing Phil Ford, and we talked about that at the top of the game. If Portland wanted to win this game, they had to contain Ford as much as possible, and they really have done it today. They've made it very difficult for him to get inside, for him to score, or even pass off, and when he has passed off, his teammates just haven't put the ball in.
Gus Girard to the free throw line for Kansas City. Hits the free throw, but it's too little, too late. 17 seconds to go, and Portland still holding to a 14-point lead. They were up by 22 starting the fourth period. Kansas City came back to a degree, but the lead was just too great. Outside to Brewer. T.R. Dunn takes a look. And with 3 seconds left, Behagen gives a foul.
Well, that was pretty much an unnecessary foul. Behagan coming up and just intentionally taking it, but with a 100 to 114 point lead, I don't think it's going to help much.
Hey, Jack Ramsey very appreciative of this win and the effort of his team as they conclude the road trip. He went down, shook the hand of every coach, trainer, and every player on the bench. With good reason, as Portland comes up now with 3 victories in 4 games on the road. They move back to within a half game of San Diego in that competition for the final playoff spot, although Denver is slumping somewhat. It's really a 3-team race right now.
Every game important to all 3 teams.
Inbounds to Ira Terrell. Ron Brewer throws it to T.R. Dunn, and the game is over. And so, the Portland Trail Blazers win an important game on the road, defeating the Kansas City Kings 115 to 100. This is Don Criqui for John McLaughlin saying goodbye from Kemper Arena in Kansas City. Next Saturday on the new look CBS Sports Spectacular, it's the WBC Bantamweight Championship with Carlos Cerati defending his title against Nessan Cavalgo. Also at ski jumping from Holmenkollen, Norway. And finally highlights the Pro Ice Spectacular starring Peggy Fleming and John Curry. That's next Saturday on the new look CBS Sports Spectacular. The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.
This is CBS.